660 WJR with Chris Renwick, Lloyd Jackson, and Jamie Edmonds, bringing you post-State of the State analysis. Sponsored this morning by Enbridge, the Michigan Health and Hospital Association, and AdvisaCare. Now here are Chris, Lloyd, and Jamie.
Here in Michigan, we have a lot to be proud of. Over the last 7 years, we've delivered on the kitchen table issues. Together, we're building a Michigan for all. Wages and GDP are up. Crime and overdose deaths are down. Pre-K school meals and community colleges are all free. Taxes on retirement, tips, overtime, and Social Security, gone. We fixed more roads, built more homes, and replaced more lead pipes than ever. And more people moved into Michigan from other states than out for the first time since the early 90s.
That is Governor Gretchen Whitmer at her final State of the State address last night, just down the street from where we are, broadcasting live here in Lansing today at the Capitol. I was, look, she obviously is very well equipped to handle situations like this.
Sure.
And I thought she gave a wonderful final address to the state.
I did as well. She was pretty upbeat last night and just seems pretty relaxed. She, talked about the affordable housing and including, some state level tax credit and measures to reduce medical debt. She talked about that.
So she hit on affordability is what you're telling me.
Without saying that word that everybody talks about now, that's a big deal. But she closed by urging Michiganders to bridge political divides, saying, we'll always have a way through because we will always have each other. But I also liked kind of how she ended it, like the very end as well.
I start and end every day thinking about you. Because of you, the state of our state is strong. And because of you, I know it always will be. Big Gretch out.
Big Gretch out as she walked off the stage. Look, I thought it was fine. I mean, in terms of what they have going on here, it's not quite as grandiose as what we saw the night before in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of how she wanted to round this thing out, I thought she did a fine job. Now, not everybody did. Not everybody will think that she did a good job.
Yeah.
And Eric Nesbitt, who was the counter to that for the Republicans.
The Republican response.
He gave the rebuttal and pushed back on a couple of things. He's also running for governor.
Yes.
Right? So he's in a unique position. That was probably a good position for him to be in. We'll talk to him later on in the show. But what I liked to see, and look, you could say, well, when they had control, they being the Democrats had control of the House, the Senate, and the governor's office, they ran rampant.
Yes.
Right? They went and did everything they needed to do. They didn't ask any Republican for any input on anything.
That's right.
But in divided government, when Republicans took control over the House and Matt Hall became Speaker, there was bipartisan work done.
It had to be to get some things done.
It did have to be that way. And it was, and she gave Matt Hall kudos on a number of different fronts yesterday.
Yeah, some high fives, her and Matt, and Winnie as well.
And then she did, I don't know if she knows this, but Democrats can't do this. She thanked the President of the United States.
Oh, my God.
We're not done yet. Michiganders expect us to compete and win. Michigan is open for business. New factories making batteries, cars, chips are opening in Marshall, Lake Orion, Holland, Bay City, Calumet, Hemlock, Ann Arbor, and Delta Township. A new fighter mission is coming to Selfridge Air National Guard Base in Macomb County. Probably not on the bingo card, but I want to thank President Trump for his work on this.
Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay?
Whoa! I almost fell out of my chair. That was unbelievable.
Oh my goodness!
Who would have thought we could have some sort of civility in our politics?
Well, and how it affects local governments is big too. How all of what she said affects local governments, and we're going to have the Oakland County Executive and the Macomb County Executive on later on this morning in the 6 o'clock hour. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, and we're going to talk to John James coming up at 6:19. He's all over the place. He's at all the state of the stuff.
He's state of the
so
everything.
We're going to talk to John James because he was there last night, also running for governor here in the state of Michigan.
Yes.
But I thought in terms of the emotion that she needed to touch, she did, and setting up for what needs to come in the future, I thought she did a fine job.
Stellantis The automaker behind brands like Jeep, Ram, Chrysler reported its first ever annual loss, posting a $26.3 billion net loss for 2025. CEO Antonio Filosa said the company overestimated the pace of the electric vehicle market and is now paying the price, discontinuing several EV projects and shifting back to gas-powered models like the Ram 1500 TRX SRT. Now, the loss follows similar hits for Ford and GM, which reported EV-related write-downs, $19.5 billion and $7.1 billion, respectively. Despite the losses, Stellantis saw vehicle shipments rise slightly and plans a $13 billion investment in Midwest factories this year to create jobs and boost production. Pelosi says the focus in 2026 will be returning the company to profitability and profitable growth while giving customers a mix of EVs, hybrids, and traditional vehicles. And because of those big losses, Chris, the workers will not be getting a profit sharing check this year.
Okay. So in 2023, let's go back to 2022.
Okay.
4 years ago, they received $14,700.
Wow. Big money.
In 2023, $13,860.
Okay.
A little down.
Yeah. A little
still
bit,
pretty
but
good.
Still nice. Yeah.
Last year, those numbers were down 73% to $3,780. And this year, there's nothing.
Nothing. Zero.
That's a real problem.
It is.
And Stellantis is in quite a bit of trouble. Now, look, you got new leadership. They're trying to change the mentality. They're trying to change the way they do business.
Yeah.
And I think they need to. But that's not going to be good when you're trying to attract new people to come work for you. Or, I mean, that's part of the draw,
yeah,
right, in this world is these profit sharing checks. And if you're not giving them out, that's
and these workers, they're working hard and, putting these cars together. And, the EV situation wasn't their fault. They were doing what they were supposed, what they're asked to do. And the EV thing didn't come about. So now they get nothing for that work.
Well, a lot of these companies, though, have had to shift after the change in the demand for electric vehicles.
I mean, GM and Ford, they took hits too.
Absolutely, they did.
Yeah.
And they're going to continue to try to rebound from those. But to not get out the profit sharing checks it's something else. That's pretty unheard of for our neck of the woods. Pistons with a big win last night.
Man.
Over the best team in basketball, Oklahoma City. Now, to be fair, they were missing a couple of their best players, like some of the league's best players.
They were.
And the Pistons got the win, and that's fine.
And the Pistons didn't look all that great at the beginning.
They did not.
Came along towards the end, but at the beginning, it was a little shaky there for a minute. But they, Cade and fellas, they came out and did what they needed to do.
124 to 116. Jalen Duren double-double, 29 points, 15 rebounds. Cade Cunningham double-double, 29 points, 13 assists.
Wow.
It's funny because they just looked kind of disjointed early on.
They did, yes.
And then it was probably after the half, they came back. They looked much better, playing much better defense. Offensively, they were in the transition much better. It was a much different Pistons team in the second half of that game.
And they lost to San Antonio like the night before, and San Antonio's a great team as well. But I'm saying, the Pistons get out of the East, and I think they do pretty well in a 7-game series against anybody.
No doubt about it. All right, coming up next, we're going to talk to John James. He was not only at the State of the Union address with President Donald Trump just a couple of nights ago, but he was in Lansing last night, taking in Governor Gretchen Whitmer's final address to the state of Michigan as well. He'll join us coming up at 6:19. But the reality is, no matter where you look, rising costs are hitting Michiganders hard. And when you're forced to make tough choices, keeping the lights on and heat, they should never be one of them. Consumers Energy is stepping up, giving back $5 million in assistance agencies and actually supporting those efforts to increase assistance dollars for families in need by 50%. And with personalized energy savings programs, you can take steps to start reducing your energy bills today. So count on Consumers Energy for that support. Learn more at consumersenergy.com/help.
Introducing Exclusively Cabinets, offering 9 different cabinet lines with no budget too big or small. Exclusively Cabinets offer free state-of-the-art design services. Join our clientele of over 100 5-star reviews. ExclusivelyCabinets.com.
Explore food security through stories, strategies, and solutions that empower communities and inspire action. Hear thought leaders from across the state on Food Secure Nation with Dr. Phil Knight and Jerry Brisson. Sunday nights at 9 on 760 WJR. Sponsored by Know Better, Do Better. Most drivers don't think about their auto insurance until an accident happens. But the choices you make today can shape the care you receive tomorrow. In Michigan, unlimited medical benefits may help cover long-term treatment, in-home nursing and recovery services after a serious crash. AdvisaCare supports auto accident victims every day, helping them heal safely at home. Take a moment to understand your coverage and learn more at advisacare.com. Your child's education is the foundation for tomorrow's leaders. Listen Sundays at 3 p.m. for School Talks, hosted by Dr. Robert Livernoy. Sponsored by Must Construction Careers. Learn more at mustcareers.org. Overcoming adversity, staying positive, and giving back to the world we live in defines the Denise Illich Show. This week, Denise sits down with John Oberheid, co-founder of Duo Security, to talk about how his childhood was shaped by his fascination with technology and starting his first business in middle school. She also talks with Gigi Dolly, junior poli-sci major at the University of Michigan, about how AI intersects with her everyday life and the effects of using it. Listen Saturday at 4 p.m. to The Denise Illich Show, sponsored by Secure Financial Group. When Michigan's underground systems fail, everyone feels it. Old water and stormwater pipes mean flooded streets, dirty water, and damaged roads. These systems protect our homes, our schools, and the places we work, but many were built generations ago and can't keep up today. If we don't fix what's underground, we risk what's above ground. Safety, jobs, and our future. A strong Michigan depends on strong infrastructure starting below the surface. It's time to invest before small problems become big disasters. Learn more by visiting the website thinkmita.org. Listen for the SAE Ion Engineering every Monday morning on JR Morning. Ion Engineering is sponsored by CSP, the Composite Solutions Partner, an industry leader in lightweighting and advanced composites. Learn more at thecsp.com.
Enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text HIM to 215-215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text HIM to 215-215. That's HIM to 215-215.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Paid for by Adaptive Health.
The Dan Bongino Show.
Damn, I miss you all. I've got so much content bottled up in my head. I got a lot of stuff. This is the kind of stuff. It's real. May not hear this anywhere else.
Hard truths.
There's a lot of stuff to talk about that I think is going to open a lot of eyes, and a lot of ignoramuses are going to get shut down.
And a bold perspective no one else can offer.
They are freaking out.
It's the comeback everyone's been waiting for.
Lovers, haters, friends, supporters, detractors, you're all welcome. I want to hear it all.
The Dan Bongino Show. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
See you there.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by Positive Coaching Alliance.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
Crashes on the roads this Thursday morning. Eastbound M14 between Sheldon and 275. Left lane closed for construction till 3 o'clock this afternoon. Right lane closed on northbound Telegraph between Plymouth and 96 till 5 p.m. this evening. Right lane also closed on westbound Ford Road between Hines and Outer Drive. That is in place until 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by Weather Seal Home Improvements. This year, don't just get a tax refund, upgrade it. Turn your refund into a bigger return with a brand new roof from Weather Seal Home Improvements. Right now, they'll add an extra $1,000 to your refund towards your new roof. That's a smart deal. Book today at weathersealhomeimprovements.net. That's weathersealhomeimprovements.net. Here's your forecast.
Got a nice push now of milder air coming in as we wrap up the week tomorrow. Still a bit chilly today with sunshine. It's already colder this morning, 35 later. Tonight, 28, suburbs colder. Tomorrow, breeze out of the south, southwest, so milder. Mostly sunny, 50. Partly sunny Saturday, 43. Chance of some light snow Saturday night. For the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stejik on 760 WJR, where Michigan comes to talk.
Coming up at 2 o'clock on JR Afternoon, the State of the State address will have all the reaction and take your calls. What matters to you? All that and so much more. 760 WJR.
So Governor Gretchen Whitmer said big Gretch out and ended her final State of the State address last night. And it'll be somebody else next year. And there's a crowded field of candidates that are vying for this governor seat. And whether you're on the Democrat side or right down the middle and as an independent with Mike Duggan.
Mm-hmm.
Or the Republicans, who they're going to go through a much more extensive primary process. They got a lot more people there. So they're working on, smaller amounts of people that they're trying to get and retain and get on their side. And one of them is John James. One of them is Eric Nesbitt, who will also join us later in the show. He gave the rebuttal for the Republicans yesterday. But John James has been all over the place. He was at the State of the Union address, obviously, the other night with the president, last night in Lansing, hoping to maybe be giving that same speech next year.
Well, another thing about this governor's race this year is the money, the campaign funds, getting donations. And, you have all of the Republicans who are running, who are going to be looking for donations. But then you have a person like Mike Duggan, who's the independent, who's been pulling donations from both sides.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes it a little more difficult for the regular candidates, like in the Democrat and Republican camps, to pull money, because he's pulling money from both sides.
Yeah. And I think, that to me speaks of it's two things. It's one, there is a understanding that Mike Duggan, you can't count Mike Duggan out.
No.
So people are trying to play that game.
Sure.
But they're also, I think that there's people on both sides of the aisle that look at Mike Duggan and go like, yeah, okay, I'm on board with that. Right. I saw what he did with the city of Detroit.
Exactly. Bankruptcy, all of that.
I wouldn't mind seeing that in Lansing. So I get it. Yeah. I absolutely understand it. For John James, he's got the benefit of being a congressman. So he has that cachet that he can carry into this race. Again, we'll see how that plays out and where that goes. But I was talking to some people up here, and they're like, it's an interesting time because there's so much transition.
And do you think too, because we're in this divided time right now? And
what are you talking about? Everything's fine.
And after the
governor thanked the president yesterday.
Some bipartisan there, but in the federal government, with the divisions that we have here, there in the federal government, do you think that helps a person like a Mike Duggan? Because people say, okay, all of this division and fighting and stuff, maybe I just don't want to deal with either of the parties and just deal with somebody, that's down the middle. I don't know if that helps him here because of what's going on there.
I think it's a fair question, because I think what Mike Duggan has kind of how he positioned it is, do you see everything going on over there?
Yeah.
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah. Right.
I don't want to do that.
Right.
Okay, I was a longtime Democrat. Whatever. I'm a moderate Democrat.
Yes.
But he sees that and goes, I don't want that. I don't think you want that either. So I think that helps him sell his vision.
Yeah.
I think it helps him position himself as, I'm not on the far left or the far right. I live here in the middle where a lot of you, I think, live.
Yeah.
So I think that's what helps him the most. I think for people here in this city that are tied to the Capitol or tied to the workings of government, I think that I don't think anybody's looking at Mike Duggan as being like boy, this is going to be a cute campaign and everything's going to just, he'll fold things up towards the end. And I think people are looking at this going, yeah, this is a real thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Real thing.
And he's putting in the work.
And
he has to.
People's, when I was talking about some of the polling, they said, yeah, but the polling is fine. But internally, people's feelings are different. The way that these lawmakers are looking at some of these races are different.
Yeah.
So the polling says, oh, well, if John James isn't in the race, then Jocelyn wins. Or if Jocelyn's not in the way, whatever, all these hypothetical situations.
Yeah, sure.
they don't care about those numbers. They don't care about what those polls say because of the ability of Mike Duggan to run a race and win a campaign.
Well, yeah, and because they know how he did it, and here in the city of Detroit, where he wasn't even on the ballot and was a write-in, and won.
Again, in the city of Detroit, back then, as a white guy, not on the ballot is nuts.
It's crazy.
You cannot count him out.
No, and he's doing the same thing. He's going around all the the different cities across the state, having these meetings in people's living rooms and stuff, getting to know. They're getting to know. And let me tell you,
even when we talked to him the other day up at that dog sled race,
the dog sled races,
right? Like that's where you got to be. That's where you got to. That's where you got to make your hay.
Absolutely. So it's going to be very interesting this year. The governor's race, very interesting.
Yeah, and then I think that you look at what
and the Democrats are not real happy with him. He'll tell you they're raising money to come after me because they're you're a traitor now.
They're not happy at all.
No, they're not.
No, they're not happy at all. And they do feel like he's he's switched allegiances to a certain degree.
Sure.
But I think that there's a lot of good things that do get done when you do work together, and nothing is ever going to be what you want it to be, right? And so like what we saw last night, for example. And we're going to talk about the road infrastructure coming up, is there was actually a road plan put into place. Like lawmakers actually really considered and took into account how much money we need to address our roads and then did it. We can't keep bonding it out. We can't. Like the president or the governor did early in her administration.
No.
So for the first time, there was a comprehensive road plan. Was it enough? I don't think any road expert will tell you it's ever enough.
They're going to say we need more, right? Of course, but it's something.
But it's something. And for 40 plus years, there was never.
It's been neglected.
It's not only were the roads neglected, but there was bipartisan. Nobody could get on board.
No.
They would pass these little dinky bills, and it never went very far. So now you've got the ability to take on these bigger scale projects to help our roadways.
Yeah, and even this is better for the local as well, because they were not getting there. But they have a lot of roads that need to be fixed as well, and some of that money was not trickling down to the local municipalities.
Yeah, and then of course you've got there's some of the stuff that I don't necessarily agree with the governor on, but she talked about the free college.
Oh yeah,
community colleges.
Yes.
Free school lunches, free pre-K, things like that. And those are things, again, whatever, right? But those are things that she's done, she's talked about, and that's a feather in her cap. And so she highlighted that yesterday. I know she says she's not running. I know she says that. I know she says that.
Don't they all, though?
I just don't.
They all say?
Yeah, I got Gavin Newsom in an interview the other day. Well, I don't know. I'm going to ask my kids. I think
whatever. It's done.
Hey, Gavin, what do you think? I'm stupid?
It's done.
I see what you're doing. But I still just go back and forth on the governor.
On the governor.
Whether or not that I think she's going to run. I think she's going to
run.
But ask me in like 20 minutes.
Yeah. Well, we could ask her.
Well, we will ask her later in the show. Lance Benamini of MIDA joins us on the other side on JR Morning.
Think switching to T-Mobile's a whole complicated thing? Nah, it's easy. You could do it almost anywhere in just 15 minutes.
Even poolside like Drewski, you can switch to T-Mobile and unlock savings that are built to last. With T-Mobile's Better Value Plan, you can save over $1,000 a year versus Verizon and AT&T. Save on streaming, satellite, and more benefits that they leave out.
Now I get all the VIP perks.
Start saving from day one, and for a limited time, get T-Mobile's Better Value Plan.
I know you love deals.
Plus, switch right now, and we'll even pay off your old phone up to $800. What do you think of all that, Drewski?
Stay chillin', just switch it. It's better over here.
Check the math at T-Mobile.com/better value. Savings versus comparable plans at AT&T and Verizon, plus the cost of optional benefits. Plan features and taxes and fees vary. With 3+ lines of Better Value Plan, 3+ new lines and 2 eligible ports, or 3+ lines and 5+ years on T-Mobile postpaid plan required. Qualifying credit required. Check out in 15 minutes or less per line. Get up to $800 per line via virtual prepaid card. Typically takes 15 days after rebate submission. Qualifying unlocked device credit service ported 90+ days with device and eligible carrier, and timely redemption required. No cash access and card expires in 6 months. Card issued by Sunrise Banks N.A. member FDIC.
Flagship radio for the Michigan State Spartans. 760 WJR.
Are you tired of exposing your retirement savings to stock market risk? There are strategies you can use to keep your money safe no matter what happens in the stock market. Join us for Money Talks with Joseph Uplager, Saturdays at 5 p.m. right here on WJR 760.
760 WJR. custom built for Detroit.
This is Crystal from Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical, here to remind all the homeowners listening right now that maintenance is your best friend. The number one way to keep your HVAC equipment running properly, extend the life of the equipment, and reduce breakdowns is regular maintenance. Our expert technicians will ensure your system runs properly, saving you money and giving you peace of mind all year round. Visit familyheating.com to find the location near you and call to schedule your free no-pressure estimate today.
Fox News, I'm CJ Papa. The U.S. and Iran are chatting, but not face-to-face, for a third time in Geneva about curbing Iran's nuclear ambition. Vice President J.D. Vance.
The principle is very simple. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. If they try to rebuild the nuclear weapon, that causes problems for us.
Those indirect talks brokered by Oman's foreign minister. It's not clear if the U.S. will actually engage Iran face-to-face. The notes are passed intermediaries. Now, many see this as a last-ditch effort to prevent a war between the United States and Iran.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton will answer questions today. Her husband, the former President Bill Clinton, tomorrow in the House Oversight Committee on 5 topics concerning the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The power couple not accused of any wrongdoing. The meeting behind closed doors in suburban New York. America's listening to Fox News.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by Pro-Life Across America.
Hi, I'm Angie. Did you know a billboard can save a baby's life? It's true. You can make a difference by helping us spread the pro-life message to reach those who are struggling with an unplanned pregnancy. Please make a gift today. Visit prolifeacrossamerica.org.
No crashes on the roads right now. A few construction notes. Eastbound M14 between Sheldon and 275. Left lane closed there till 3 o'clock this afternoon. Right lane closed on northbound Telegraph between Plymouth and 96 till 5 p.m. tonight. The right lane closed on westbound Ford Road between Hines Drive and Outer Drive till 12:30 tomorrow. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. Partly cloudy today, a high of 37. Right now it's 14. A few clouds tonight and a low of 26. Partly cloudy, warm tomorrow, high of 50. I'm Renee Vitale, WJR Traffic and Weather First.
Traffic and Weather is sponsored by Femininio Law. Get David, get paid.
After an accident, help shouldn't be on hold. That's why only Femininio Law has the Accident Response Team. We work for you, we meet with doctors, we preserve the evidence. Call 855-65-CRASH or visit getdavidgetpaid.com.
Be sure to start every Sunday at 8 a.m. with JR Sunday with Mark Hollis. Great interviews and conversations all in one place on JR Sunday with Mark Hollis, sponsored by Tryon, your payroll and HR solution. To learn more and to reach out to Tryon, go to relyontryon.com.
Did you know GoodRx can help you save on medication, manage prescriptions, and get trusted health information? If you're one of the millions living with a heart condition, check GoodRx for an easier, more affordable way to manage your health. GoodRx offers common heart medications for under $30. Just search for your prescription, find the best price, then show your pharmacist the GoodRx coupon. And it works whether you have insurance or not. To start saving and better manage your heart health, download the free app or visit GoodRx.com today. GoodRx is not insurance but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline nasal spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Thanks for calling the Complete Battery Source.
This is probably a long shot, but I'm a buyer for XYZ Corporation, and I was wondering if you carry two-way radio batteries.
Yep, got that.
But you didn't even hear what kind of two-way radio we got.
Don't need to. We're your Complete Battery Source. The answer is pretty much always, yep, got that.
Wow, that's great, but our office isn't near any of your stores. Wish there was some way I could order online.
Yep, got that. With our new and improved website, yepgotthat.com, you can order online.
Really? What about a battery for our...
Yep, got that. Complete Battery Source has batteries for anything that uses batteries, and we can accommodate almost any order, whether you want to buy a new battery for your delivery van or 5,000 AA's.
That's great. Sounds like Complete Battery Source is the place to power up all of my business needs.
That's right. All you got to do is come into any one of the 5 Complete Battery Source locations: Brighton, Southfield, Ypsilanti, Okemos, and Houghton Lake. Call toll-free 877-ALL-BATS or click on yepgotthat.com. 5 locations. Now you got that?
Would you mind going through that one more time?
You're listening to JR Morning on WJR, with comments following last night's address by Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. Sponsored this morning by Enbridge, the Michigan Health and Hospital Association, and AdvisaCare. Once again from Courtyard Lansing downtown, Chris Renwick, Lloyd Jackson, and Jamie Edmonds.
Well, Michigan roads and bridges have been a long-standing concern, especially at the local level, where deterioration has only worsened over time. And in her final State of the State address, Governor Gretchen Whitmer pointed to the passage of a historic road funding package as a major bipartisan win, one aimed at slowing the decline of Michigan's transportation network. Now, while the investment is expected to make a real difference, many in the infrastructure community say it's an important step, but it's not the finish line. And joining us now to break it all down, Lance Benonimi. He is Vice President of Government Affairs for the Michigan Infrastructure and Transportation Association. Lance, thanks for stopping by this morning. Thank you so much. You listened to the governor's speech last night, and from an infrastructure standpoint, what did you hear that rang true, and what do you think was unfinished still?
Yeah, I think the governor did a good job of laying out what was accomplished last year, and they took some victory laps, which I think they all were well-deserved. But I think the key point that she made at the end was that there's still work to be done. Every study suggests that we need $4 billion more annually in our road system to get up to 90% good and fair condition. So $1.85 billion, while it's a good progressive start and it will make a difference, is not $4 billion each year.
What would it take to get to 90% good or fair?
Yeah, it's to $3.5–4 billion each year, every year ongoing, as every study suggests.
And like, how long would that take us to get to that point?
Well, we've gotten in this situation over decades of underinvestment. It's going to take decades.
So you're looking at decades.
Yeah, it's going to be a slow, progressive movement. But as we saw last summer, we can do a lot of projects at once. We saw a lot of the highways get taken care of. And so, with this increase in money, I think you'll see that on the local level coming up as well.
But then when you look at what good and fair condition means, is that good and fair condition at the surface level? Is that good and fair condition 4 feet underground? Because once you start tearing up these roads, I mean, what are you going to find underneath, right? There's a whole other host of problems.
Exactly right. And that's part of the problem too, is that we do rate our roads in pretty good systems. We don't rate our underground infrastructure very well. And so when we do dig up, especially the local roads, we're going to find out that the underground infrastructure has been aging and needs attention as well. So where do communities come up with that kind of money as well? So we need to do something on the state level to help those communities and give them the resources. We listened to Candace Miller last night talk, and she said, it's very simple. You see a problem and you can go fix it if you have the money to do so.
Right.
A lot of conversation focuses on highways, but as you were talking, the local roads, they really take a huge beating. Why do the local roads tend to lose out? And what changes if they don't get sustained investment?
Yeah, so we've seen a ton of investment over the last 5 years through the governor's bonding program, through the IIJA Infrastructure Investments and Jobs Act out of Congress. None of that money could go to the local system, and that's why. So while we were repairing all of those highways, the traffic was being diverted to the local network,
right.
And that local network continued to get hit harder without increased investments. That's why the plan last year was so important. They put a bigger emphasis on the local level and put more money towards the local government. So we're going to find over the next 5–10 years a lot of main streets being fixed.
What have you noticed over the course of the last a couple of years, right? After the bond money ran out, they had to get down to brass tacks and they had to figure out a plan. They did. They got to one. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't quite as much as we all had hoped for, but it was something. It was the most comprehensive road plan we had seen in the state in decades. And then I think it falls on the shoulders of both parties. It's not one party or the other. What has the process been like from your perspective? What changed in making this such a priority?
Yeah, I think it took real leadership in the legislature and from the governor. I mean, the governor was relentless, has been relentless since she came into office about fixing the roads. Speaker Matt Hall was also relentless as soon as he became Speaker of the House. And so I think that leadership is what it takes in this town. You've got a lot of animosity between the parties. You've got a lot of animosity between the two chambers, and it's going to take these leaders to bring everyone together.
Do you think that a future leader will treat this as a problem solved when the data says otherwise?
We hope not, and I'm going to keep saying that it's not solved to make sure that that doesn't happen. But
have
yes,
you talked to these candidates about that?
We have, yeah, and we'll go through a rigorous process in how we decide who we want to support. But we're hopeful the next governor just carries on the tradition. We're really hopeful that the legislature takes this progress and moves forward and builds upon it.
So now, when you look at what needs to be done, a lot of the money is going to go to those local communities, which is great. What still needs to be really focused on, though? Like, from whether it's underground, on top, like what parts of the state really need the most love?
Yeah, I certainly think that communities, once they get some of this road money, I think they need to really analyze their underground infrastructure. Half of our problem is a lot of the communities don't even know what is underneath. And if you are tearing up these roads and fixing Main Street, you better look underneath and see what it's like. And if you have the money and resources to do that, then you should actually repair that. If you don't have the resources to do it at that point, you make sure that you plan for that ahead. I mean, this is an opportunity for locals to actually assess their infrastructure on all levels.
If Michigan doesn't close this remaining funding gap, Lance, what's the long-term cost financially and then economically?
It depends on what kind of state we want to live in. If we want to have 70% good and fair condition roads, we can continue to invest in the levels that we are. The state has said we want to be at 90% good and fair condition, and so we need to invest more. Now, wherever that comes from is up for debate, but we certainly need to invest more. And I think for the underground infrastructure, I think communities really need to take a serious look on analyzing their systems. There are really good mapping programs you can do. You can test out the age of your infrastructure underground, and you can see what fixes might need to be happening. So, we continue to wait for a crisis to occur. And once that crisis occurs, those repairs are just astronomically expensive. If we plan ahead and we actually repair and maintain that infrastructure along the way, it saves the community a ton of money.
How does the federal government play a part in this as far as getting funds from them as well to help in something like this?
We need more help from them too. Our state revolving fund that comes from federal dollars is certainly one that is lacking. We need more investment into that. And I think, Congress has looked into that. We did get some extra money for underground infrastructure out of the IIJA. And so we're hopeful that Congress continues to approve that IIJA and reauthorize it. But that ends after next year. So,
okay.
There's also been, people scrutinize the way the roads are fixed, right? The building process, the construction process of these roads. The Autobahn's 8-10 feet deep. That's why that thing never cracks. We don't have that luxury here necessarily, but has that changed over the years as well?
Yeah, we're constantly innovating in the industry. Testing is being done left and right. Our department actually does a really good job of using the resources that we have and making sure that we're using asset management programs to fix our infrastructure. And so, no, we're doing as much as we can on the state level and comparing ourselves to other states on the national level. It's really a funding issue. We have underfunded for decades in this state. And if you look at what the other states surrounding us do, Ohio is a great example. When I got to MITA, which was 14 years ago, Ohio was doing $1 billion more every year. And they have a very similar network that we have. $1 billion more every single year. They've since increased their gas tax by 10 cents and they have a toll road. And so they put a lot more effort and they put a lot more money. We can build the same roads, build them the same way that they do. It's just we don't have the resources to do as you put, to do 4 feet of underneath ground.
How much does, we talk about the money, of course, we need that, but how much does our weather play in getting these
certainly.
roads
Yeah. No, we have such a huge freeze thaw cycle. And I hear, Wisconsin has cold weather too. Well, they don't have as much thaw as we do. And so, it's that freeze thaw that really gets into the cracks and really expands and really does detriment to the roads.
The blessing and the curse of being located here, right? We're so lucky to be in this state. We've got so many beautiful places, but the weather plays a factor, certainly.
It does. Lance Benanimi, Vice President, Government Affairs, Michigan Infrastructure and Transportation Association. Thanks for getting up early with us.
Good to see you, Lance.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Coming up, we're going to talk about the locales and the local cities and counties when we get with Dave Coulter, the Oakland County Executive, and Mark Hackle, the Macomb County Executive, next at 6:49 on JR Morning.
Catch the Michigan Opportunity, an economic development series featuring candid conversations with business leaders and innovators across Michigan. Every Saturday night at 11 p.m. on the Michigan Opportunity, you'll hear firsthand accounts on how the state is driving job growth and business investment, supporting a thriving entrepreneurial ecosystem, building vibrant communities, and helping to attract and retain one of the most diverse and talented workforces. The Michigan Opportunity, Saturdays at 11 p.m., sponsored by the MEDC.
Wow, did you see this?
Barrett News Media. What is that?
Well, they're a national publishing and consulting firm. Media professionals all read their stuff. But look at who they have in the top 15 of the best radio shows in the entire country.
Oh, Focus with Paul W. Smith.
Yeah. JR Morning with Chris Renwick, Lloyd Jackson, and Jamie Edmonds.
And, of course, The Mitch Albom Show.
I guess that's what they mean when they say the great voices of the Great Lakes.
I always thought I had a pretty great voice. I really do.
Don't sing, hon. Don't. It ain't that great.
Barrett News Media says they're the tops in the country. Catch all of the great weekday shows and see for yourself. The great voices of the Great Lakes. 760 WJR.
WJR and the Detroit Economic Club are pleased to welcome David Burritt, President and CEO of U.S. Steel, to the podium Thursday, March 12th at the Masonic Temple in Detroit. In a fireside chat with Detroit News' Daniel Howes, Mr. Burritt will discuss what it really takes to rebuild and sustain American industrial strength in a fiercely competitive era. Listen to Focus noon till 2 as we broadcast live. Special coverage sponsored by DFCU Financial. For tickets and more information, visit econclub.org.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Your child's education is the foundation for tomorrow's leaders. Listen Sundays at 3 p.m. for School Talks, hosted by Dr. Robert Livernoy. Sponsored by Must Construction Careers. Learn more at mustcareers.org.
Do you have an IRA or 401k? You want to think of this as being your money. But remember, you still have to pay taxes when you withdraw this money in retirement. And these taxes, well, they could be a lot higher than you know. Learn how you could reduce or potentially eliminate these taxes with a free retirement tax savings analysis. It's from the Brzezinski Group, a second-generation financial advisory firm right here in Metro Detroit. If you've saved at least $250,000, schedule your free analysis now by calling 800-641-3361. This free analysis could save you tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes in retirement. Call 800-641-3361. That's 800-641-3361. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC. Firm does not provide legal or tax advice.
Your morning is busy, so we'll keep it brief. Upgrade your routine with WJR's 5 Things First Thing. JR Morning with Chris, Lloyd, and Jamie break down the top 5 stories in just 5 minutes. Delivered straight to your device. Start your day by hitting play. Subscribe today on the always free WJR app.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone. The free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help you troubleshoot the likely cause of your pesky check engine light for free and help you save time and money down the road. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
One accident on the roads. That's westbound 94 at Shook. 2 right lanes are blocked. Traffic stop and go from North River Road. Construction-wise, eastbound M14 between Sheldon and 275. Left lane closed there till 3 o'clock this afternoon. Right lane is closed on northbound Telegraph between Plymouth Road and 96 until 5 p.m. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel. Here's your forecast.
A bit colder morning and a chilly day today, but warming up nicely for tomorrow weekend. Maybe a little snow by Saturday night. But off to a great start here on this Thursday. Sun will win today, 35 tonight, some clouds, upper 20s. Outlying areas will be a little bit colder. Sun breezy, milder, near 50 tomorrow. And then it's Saturday night late. We might see just a touch of snow. On the Weather Channel, meteorologist Ray Stagicon, 760 WJR, where Michigan comes to talk.
Call us or text us. The number's the same. 1-800-859-0957. 1-800-859-WJR. Powered by Michigan Auto Law, Auto Accident Attorneys. Visit autolaw.com. That's autolaw.com.
Welcome back to JR Morning. Governor Gretchen Whitmer delivered her final State of the State address with a focus on education, infrastructure, housing, and long-term economic stability, laying out what she believes should guide Michigan beyond her time in office. But how those priorities translate from Lansing to local communities is where the real test begins. And to talk about what they heard in speech and what could directly benefit their counties, we're joined now by Dave Coulter. He is the Oakland County Executive, and Mark Hackle, Macomb County Executive. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
We are doing well. You both listened to the governor's State of the State, the final one, when you heard it, and take it one at a time. When you heard it, as not as politicians, though, but as county executives, what kind of jumped out as something that could actually move the needle at the local level?
Dave? I think high level. Go ahead, Dave.
Dave?
Oh,
go right
jump
ahead.
right in. I'm used to my friend Mark being right on the ball. I was good at it, then he said Dave. So but it's early because we were both up late last night.
Sure,
Look,
I understand. Go right ahead.
Look, I think this governor has done a really nice job over the last years of just being pragmatic, talking about kitchen table issues, not trying to bring us together in a really polarized time. And I think she tried to do that again last night. You want to talk specifics? We're trying to build more affordable housing in Oakland County. So I was particularly interested in hearing about how we might be able to do that. And particularly if there might be more funds available to do that. We have a real problem in this state and country, frankly, with young people being able to afford housing. So that's something in particular that I thought was really important. And then I know my friends in the education community are very concerned about education and literacy. And she's only got a year left. She can't do everything. But to make literacy a focus of her last year, I think is really smart and helpful.
Mark?
Yeah, Lloyd, I think the takeaway, if you think about it, over her past 8 years and specifically last night, she did a great job, with that speech. And I say that because in contrast to the speech the night before, she did not get into the bipartisan stuff in a negative vein. She did it in a very positive way. She even gave a shout out to President Trump. She gave a shout out to Matt Hall for the work he had done specifically on roads, and even talked about Selfridge, where the handoff is going to be Lisa McLean. So, given praise to Republicans without any criticism whatsoever, or why things aren't getting done is because it's someone else's fault. A lot has been accomplished, and with that, there's a lot of credit that needs to be shared by everyone. So. She did that in a very positive way, unifying people. And so to me, that's refreshing. That's what we need more of. It is about us. If we're looking for the answer, it's about us. And so she did that in a great way. And as David mentioned, sure, we can start ticking off some of the accomplishments and things that have happened. We could talk about some things that still need to happen. But the reality is road funding, this legislature, this governor gets credit for that. Is it going to solve the problem overnight? No, but there's no question about it. Sustainable, substantial road funding is coming our way. Progressively, we're going to start moving the needle in a positive direction as opposed to status quo year after year of just trying to figure out how do we continue to get ahead of it. And with that, I can't thank her enough for that. That's something that was a big challenge from the first day I got into office.
Well, and credit to her, it wasn't an hour and 47 minutes either.
That's true.
So that was a positive for everybody involved.
Sitting next to Dave for an hour and 45 minutes. I don't know that I can. Sorry, Dave. I love you, man. I love you.
I get you. He says. We've been talking a lot about. Look, yes, a year left, and one of the things that she has tried to do over the 2 terms that she has been governor has been retaining, and then drawing people to the state of Michigan. We need more people here. We need a more robust workforce here. We need to be at the forefront of innovation. We want to be the Silicon Valley of our region of the United States. So all of those things need to happen. We should never be below Mississippi in education. Should never happen. Our per capita income should never be where it is. But the realities are, we are here now. And one of the things that she has done and made a focus on, obviously, is the roads. And there has been bipartisan efforts on that. And I know that both of you guys are going to have access to more funds, which I'm sure you're happy about. And certainly out in Macomb County, Mark, I know that that's something that you guys have talked about for a long time.
Yeah, and again, this whole idea about how do we grow the state together. I mean, there's an effort put forth on her behalf. She started a separate division within her office to make sure that we grow Michigan and grow Michigan together. And as Dave has talked about, I've talked about, and even Warren Evans, we tend to have some bit of a competition amongst counties. But the reality is, we all know, to grow the state of Michigan, Southeast Michigan is an incredibly important component of that. And with that, we start to realize we got to figure out how do we come together as a region to compete with other regions around the globe, as opposed to competing with one another. And so we've been very focused on that, and the idea of, how do we get people attracted to here? And it's not always about the job. It's not always about, the cost of living. I mean, those are issues that, everyone faces. It's the quality of life assets that we have. And how do we start talking in a positive vein about the assets and the reasons why we live here, and get that out to everyone? Each and every one of us is an ambassador. Instead of talking about the negatives and the problems and the challenges, let's talk about some of the things that are happening that give good reason as to why people would want to make Michigan their home, not just Macomb, but Michigan their home.
Dave,
and here, let me just add, here in Oakland County, we had a statistic about 6 months ago that shocked me, frankly. We're all worried about attracting and retaining people here, and population, and why it's so important. And the census came out with their annual estimate. They do it every 10 years, but they do estimates every year. And for the first time in decades, every community, and we have 62 of them in Oakland County, every community gained population last year. I've never seen that happen in my adult life. And look, none of this stuff happens overnight. It's all going to take a concerted effort. But I think we've turned the corner. I really do. And that's one of the indicators that tells me that people are rediscovering Michigan. They're staying here, that we're focusing on the right issues, that are trying to attract and keep businesses and workers and people here. And I think there's, I think there's positives in there, and it's our job to point those out, as well as to actually tackle the important issues that need to be done.
Oakland County Executive Dave Coulter, Mark Hackle, Macomb County Executive. Appreciate you guys being on with us this morning. This is an election year. We're going to have a new governor, and that next governor needs to understand the pressures that these counties are facing that don't always show up in the speeches. So thank you so much for being here with us.
Thanks, Lloyd. Thanks, Chris.
Always.
Thanks, Jamie.
Appreciate you guys.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, the local governments, they play a big part too. I mean, the road funding is big for them.
Yeah, the road funding is big for them. But to Dave Coulter's point, have we turned that corner? I hope so.
I hope so. We're working towards it.
I mean, we've seen more population growth in the city of Detroit.
Absolutely.
So we're starting to see that, which is a good thing.
And young people living downtown was what we love too. Coming up in the 7 o'clock hour, Michigan's economy taking a hit from fewer Canadian visits. That's next.
We can't see tomorrow, but we can hear it. And it sounds like peace of mind, knowing our lakes will be better protected by placing Line 5 in the Great Lakes Tunnel. And that we've added extra safety measures while we work to build it, because we're committed to keeping the Great Lakes safe for generations to come. Tomorrow is on. Visit enbridge.com/line5 for more information. Enbridge. Life takes energy.
WJR.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. Life is beautiful and fragile. We fall. We get tired. And sometimes we get sick. But with Corewell Health, we are also strong. We fight disease. We battle cancer. We come together. We come back. We push forward. When the body breaks, we break through. Corewell Health. We can.
WJR, Detroit.
Cuba is calling them terrorists who came from the U.S. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The 4 people shot dead and 6 wounded right off the coast in a speedboat registered in Florida.
It is highly unusual to see shootouts in open sea like that.
And Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the U.S. will do its own investigation.
The Cuba government says that when this boat entered their waters, a border guard approached them wanting to get more information, and that's when the shots were fired. It happened about a mile off of Cuba's north coast. Cuba's Interior Ministry said the 10 passengers were Cuban nationals living in the U.S., and some had a known history of criminal and violent activity, and they claimed the group wanted to carry out an infiltration for terrorist purposes.
Fox's Stephanie Bennett. The U.S. and Iran are talking again now in Geneva indirectly through a mediator as President Trump demands Iran scale back its nuclear program while a U.S. military buildup continues in the region.
Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian has told state TV that weapons of mass destruction were banned by the country's supreme leader. That clearly means, says President Pezeshkian, that Tehran won't develop nuclear weapons. But experts say Iran has since enriched uranium well beyond the level needed for a nuclear power program.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. The same American envoys in those talks will sit down with the Ukrainian officials today, still trying to end Russia's war. There's more of the 2020 election fallout at the FBI. The director's angry about the scrutiny he was put under before he took charge of the bureau.
Fox confirms the FBI seized Kash Patel's and now White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles' phone records in 2022 and 2023 as part of the investigations into President Trump's effort to overturn the 2020 election results and retaining classified documents when he left office. Patel and Wiles were Trump aides named in investigations. Patel calls the subpoenas of his phone records outrageous and alarming. Meantime, at least 10 FBI employees who worked on the classified documents case were fired Wednesday.
That's Fox's Chris Foster. America's listening to Fox News.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
We have one accident on the roads. That's westbound 94 at Shook. It's taking up the 2 right lanes. Traffic's backed up to North River Road. So travel on southbound M53 between Hall Road and Van Dyke. Same with northbound 275 between Ann Arbor Road and M14. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. Partly cloudy today, a high of 37. Right now, it's 14. A few clouds tonight and a low of 26. Partly cloudy, warm tomorrow with a high of 50. I'm Renee Vitale, WJR Traffic and Weather First.
After years of diving into the ups and downs of retirement planning, we've decided to change the name of our show, Expedition Retirement. Join us for Fire Your Financial Advisor, Saturdays at 3 and Sundays at 5 on News Talk 760 WJR.
No matter the time of the year, it's good for the mind, body, and soul to get out there. Luckily, we're in Michigan, one of the most beautiful places in the country. I'm Dave Lorenz. Join us Sunday at 4 for the Michigan Travel Show here on 760 WJR.
Crystal here from Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Keep your home warm and your energy costs down with a new furnace from Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Visit familyheating.com to find the location near you and call to schedule a free, no-pressure estimate today.
Here's a tale of Tina searching up and down for decent GLP-1s, but got spun around.
Till Good RX wrote in, hey, we got something new. GLP-1 prescriptions, all FDA approved.
Brand name meds, no flags that are red.
Clear pricing from the start. None of those hidden fees in your cart.
Delivered to your door or pick up same day. Darn tootin'.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
I put it to goodrx.com/weight loss. GoodRx is not insurance.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Hi friends, Bill Golly here from Golly Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. This February is Ram Truck Month, where every Ram truck comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Right now, well-qualified Chrysler employees with loyalty can lease a 2026 Ram 1500 Laramie Crew Cab 4x4 for just $359 a month. Leases for 39 months, 10,000 miles a year with $2,000 down, plus sex title plates and dock art extra. So come see us. That's Golly Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Bloomfield Hills, Chelsea, Roseville, or our newest location on Mac in Detroit, or always at Golling.com.
Live from Courtyard, Lansing downtown, this is JR Morning on 760 WJR with Chris Renwick, Lloyd Jackson, and Jamie Edmonds, bringing you post-State of the State analysis. Sponsored this morning by Enbridge, the Michigan Health and Hospital Association, and AdvisaCare. Now here are Chris, Lloyd, and Jamie.
Broadcasting live from Lansing in the beautiful Courtyard Marriott, just a few blocks right down the street from the Capitol.
Yeah.
Great spot to be. We appreciate the hospitality here of all of our friends here at Courtyard by Marriott. And it was Governor Gretchen Whitmer's final State of the State address last night. She talked about a whole host of issues, whether it was education, the economy, affordability in housing certainly is something that she says needs to be addressed and that they're looking at. And mentioning that still needing to fix the roads. It's something that she has talked about for literally years. She campaigned on it, and she talked about fixing those roads once again last night. Listen to her remarks on that.
Michigan is also a safer, better place to live. Every community has record resources to hire and train and retain first responders. We're producing more clean, reliable energy from wind, solar, nuclear, and hydrogen to protect our planet and power everyone's homes. We've replaced 70,000 lead pipes and upgraded water infrastructure statewide. And we're fixing the damn roads everywhere, thanks to the biggest bipartisan roads deal in state history.
And they got there because they worked across the aisle.
Well, it was almost kind of like because the dynamics changed a little bit. They had to work.
They had to. Yeah, they had to.
Yeah.
They had to. But in order to get to that point, you have to be willing to make concessions.
Absolutely.
You are never going to get what you want.
No.
In anything. Lord, I'd like to eat pizza and ice cream every single day. I don't get to do that.
No.
You don't get to do that in politics either.
Absolutely.
And so I think for what they want to do, they really can be the example. And the governor has gone out. She's worked with the president when many in her party have said that was a bad idea. You should never be doing that. But she did it, and then she gets new fighter jets at Selfridge. Right? Those are the kind of actions you need to make as a governor and the governor of the state of Michigan to move this thing forward.
And she wasn't ashamed to thank the Trump administration for what they did to help with Selfridge.
We're not done yet. Michiganders expect us to compete and win. Michigan is open for business. New factories making batteries, cars, chips are opening in Marshall, Lake Orion, Holland, Bay City, Calumet, Hemlock, Ann Arbor, and Delta Township. A new fighter mission is coming to Selfridge Air National Guard Base in Macomb County. Probably not on the bingo card, but I want to thank President Trump for his work on this.
I mean, you almost passed out earlier.
Whoa! Oh my God!
But yeah,
I love that. I love it
too.
because you have to put a lot of that aside, and she did. And
for
again,
the betterment of her state that she runs.
There were people in her party that were flabbergasted, just like I was.
Yeah.
But you have to do that if you want to make that progress, and she did it, and she's done it on a number of issues. So I appreciate that aspect of her governance.
Yeah, well, we'll be talking to Eric Nesbitt, who gave the Republican response. We'll be talking with him in the 8 o'clock hour, and we'll also get more reaction from other legislators coming up as well.
The governor will join us in 40 minutes also.
Yes, she will be here, and we can ask her thoughts. And then she has a tour that's going on as well. I got to ask her about this tour that's happening now. Canadian visits to the United States, well, they fell sharply last year, dropping about 10 million travelers. That's a 25% decline from the previous year, hitting border states like Michigan especially hard. Southeast Michigan saw a 30% drop. That's according to the Visit Detroit CEO, Claude Molinari. who saying impacting hotels and restaurants and attractions that rely on Canadian tourism. The decline comes amid heightened tensions between the U.S. and Canada under President Donald Trump, including threats of tariffs, criticism of Canada's fentanyl policies, and controversial rhetoric about the border. Despite the tourism slump, Michigan's trade and business ties with Canada remain strong, with the province continuing as the state's largest trading partner. I mean,
it's the fallout.
It's the fallout, but listen, we love our friends over across the water from us, and we want you to come and visit, and we like to visit there too, and keep that going. And all the rhetoric, just let that go. Let them deal with that.
Yeah, the problem is when you start getting into that and you start talking about 51st state and all that stuff.
Yeah.
To me, that was all the unnecessary stuff. Now, you want to talk about trade, you want to get into the president thinks that there needs to be a more fair system between the United States and Canada.
Work that out.
That's fine.
You can do that.
But it's the other stuff that, if Mexico starts going, maybe you guys could all be Mexican. We'd be like, no,
right, exactly.
What are you talking about?
Exactly.
Right? We would take offense to that, just
yes.
like many Canadians have as well. So I don't blame some of that reaction by the Canadians.
Mm-hmm.
I totally get it. And the unfortunate part is we suffer those consequences.
Those losses. Yeah.
Here in the state of
We
Michigan.
appreciate them being here.
How about the Pistons last night?
Man, they looked a little shaky at the beginning. I didn't know what was going to happen, but they ended up coming up on top of the best team in the NBA.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander did not play.
No.
Which is, a huge benefit for the Pistons
Sure.
in this aspect. But we were talking about this last night. Okay, so the Cade did not have a great game against San Antonio. They ended up losing that game.
Right.
In a 7-game series, how many games is Cade going to play poorly?
Exactly. Not going to happen.
One?
Maybe.
And poorly in Cade standards is still pretty good.
Sure.
Right? So I'm not really worried about it, but when you start stacking yourself up against the best teams in the NBA,
yeah.
Well, you start to get a clearer picture of maybe where this team is at. Are they a championship team yet? We don't know, but they're going to be dangerous once they get in.
Well, I mean, we don't know if they're a championship team, but when you look at the championship teams and where they were at this time in the season, pretty close.
124-116 Pistons over the Thunder. Meanwhile, 7:12, time for WJR's Business Beat, brought to you by Shelving.com. We rack your world. Here's Jeff Sloan, the founder and CEO of Startup Nation, to spotlight the entrepreneurial, tech, and startup community right here on WJR.
Good morning. Purpose Jobs has just published its 2026 version of its annual recognition of the best places to work in the Midwest. The list highlights purpose-driven startups and tech companies that create consistently positive employee experiences through strong leadership, thoughtful policies, and genuine care for people. The companies on the list provide workplaces where values show up in day-to-day decisions, employees feel supported and included, and flexibility, well-being, and growth are treated as essentials, not extras. To raise the bar this year, companies were asked to go beyond surface-level claims. In addition to sharing policies and programs, honorees submitted employee testimonials and detailed examples of how culture works in practice, including how feedback leads to real change. So who makes the list this year? Well, obviously, too many for me to call out all the various companies throughout the Midwest and in the state of Michigan that make the list. We'll feature a couple here from the Detroit region. Greenlancer is a company that supports clean energy transition by helping solar projects get built, approved, and operating reliably over time. They're headquartered in downtown Detroit. What makes Greenlancer a great place to work? Remote flexibility is built into how the company operates, supported by clear expectations and a strong sense of accountability. As one employee put it, I genuinely feel supported by the leadership at Greenlancer and believe my skills and expertise are regularly recognized and valued at the company. That trust and appreciation motivates me continually to grow and contribute at a high level. Another company recognized, Sutra.ai, an outcome-oriented platform that turns curiosity about AI into measurable results. They're based in Madison Heights, founded in 2021, and their focus is to simplify AI adoption, accelerate time to value, and solve real business problems across industries like healthcare and aviation. Now, why did they make the list? Well, Sutra.ai blends high standards with a team-first environment where innovation is expected and learning is part of the day-to-day experience. Now, again, we only have time here on the Business Beat to cover a couple of examples. Go to purpose.jobs to see the rest of the companies recognized in this important annual list. I'm Jeff Sloan, founder and CEO of StartupNation.com, and that's today's Business Beat on the great voice of the Great Lakes, WJR.
Support safe operations with new pallet racks and lift trucks that reduce physical strain, or Unirack pallet racking backed by host protectors and netting. Shelving.com also offers certified rack assessments to ensure OSHA compliance.
Shelving.com, we rack your world.
Hi, this is Perry Johnson, running for governor of Michigan. A businessman named Donald Trump got sick of politics and decided to run himself. I agree with him. My background is statistics, audits, perfection. I helped fix the automobile industry in Detroit. Then my management techniques spread to 67 countries around the world. Day one, I'll audit every penny our state spends. That will lead to Doge-like savings and will eliminate the state income tax, putting almost $5,000 back into our average family's pocket every year. 4747. I'll support ICE and our law enforcement. Support President Trump and remove these ridiculous woke rules like boys in girls' bathrooms. I'm Perry Johnson. I'm going to shake up the system and send you the savings. I'm Perry Johnson, and I approve this message. Paid for by Perry Johnson for governor.
Paul W. Smith here, speaking from the heart during Valentine's month. My wife Kim and I love waking up without back and neck pain, like thousands of other grateful patients, thanks to Dr. Saul Kogan and the Nerve and Disc Institute. His non-invasive, non-surgical intradisc neutrosis treatment for bulging and herniated discs, spinal stenosis, sciatica, and degenerative disc disease has given lasting, welcome relief to people who truly believed they'd be in pain forever. Likewise, Dr. Kogan's non-invasive, non-surgical Knee Restore RX treatment for osteoarthritis, meniscus tears, and muscle strains has become a go-to for patients contemplating knee replacements. Love life again. The first 50 callers who mention WJR get 50% off their treatment plan in February. The Nerve and Disc Institute in Clinton Township, Farmington, Grand Blanc, and now Bad Axe. Call 586-416-DISC. 586-416-3472.
This is Keith Kingston, tax partner at Metro Detroit accounting firm Schindel Rock, with our weekly tax tip for business owners. Starting in 2025 and through 2029, the amount allowed for the federal SALT deduction has increased to $40,000 for most taxpayers, but there are some limitations. So it's important to plan on the timing of those payments to maximize the deduction each year. Schindel Rock helps Metro Detroit businesses solve complex tax matters. Learn more at schindelrock.com.
When Michigan's underground systems fail, everyone feels it. Old water and stormwater pipes mean flooded streets, dirty water, and damaged roads. These systems protect our homes, our schools, and the places we work, but many were built generations ago and can't keep up today. If we don't fix what's underground, we risk what's above ground. Safety, jobs, and our future. A strong Michigan depends on strong infrastructure starting below the surface. It's time to invest before small problems become big disasters. Learn more by visiting the website thinkmita.org.
We're always upgrading phones, cars, tech, but what about the energy systems we all rely on?
That's exactly what Enbridge is doing. Investing in the energy systems that help keep energy reliable and affordable for Michigan families and businesses, today and tomorrow.
So it's about keeping Michigan's energy moving.
Exactly. Smart investments help keep energy secure and affordable for everyone. Learn more at enbridge.com/Michigan. Enbridge. Tomorrow is on.
WJR traffic and weather first.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle from Blindster. I started Blindster in my garage back in 2010. Since then, we've sold millions of custom blinds, shades, and shutters nationwide. Our blinds are DIY friendly, guaranteed to fit, and always cheaper than big box stores. Blindster.com.
One crash on the roads right now. That's eastbound 94 after Rawsonville Road. Slow travel on southbound M53 between 23 Mile and Hall Road. Construction-wise, eastbound M14 between Sheldon and 275. Left lane closed there till 3 o'clock this afternoon. Right lane closed on northbound Telegraph between Plymouth Road and 96 till 5 p.m. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by the National Electrical Contractors Association, NECA. Put the expertise and skill of NECA contractors to work on your commercial, industrial, or public electrical construction project. NECA members like Guardian Equipment are powering Michigan's future, project after project, on time and on budget. Learn more at smcnica.org. Here's your forecast.
Pretty good couple of days. It's heavier jackets today. Might shed a layer tomorrow with some milder air in. Some clouds, otherwise clear, cold this morning. Mostly sunny later. 35. Tonight, upper 20s. Suburbs get a little colder. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, breezy, and milder. Somewhere around 50 degrees. And a good start to the weekend. Saturday, partly sunny, low 40s with maybe a little snow late Saturday night. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stagicon, 760 WJR, where Michigan comes to talk.
Hi, it's Paul W. Smith. Join us Thursday, noon to 2, and we'll recap the governor's State of the State address, getting lots of different thoughts and opinions. That's coming up Thursday, noon to 2. Focus with me, Paul W. Smith.
The governor's final State of the State address is in the books, and we continue to get reaction from many of the power players, not only here in Lansing, but around the state of Michigan. Senator Michael Weber joins us to talk about it. Senator, good to see you.
Hey, great. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, thanks for swinging by this morning. I know it's early. I know it was a long night for a lot of you guys.
Not as long as the night before.
That's right. That's right. It was a much shorter speech than what the president gave.
Yes.
What was your reaction to what the governor had to say last night?
I think it was a lot of the kind of the greatest hits of the 8 years for Whitmer, but unfortunately, I don't think a lot of that is what people are feeling in terms of like some of the positive stuff in Michigan. I mean, the numbers don't lie. She said we're 44th in literacy, going backwards on that, 45th in unemployment. Our energy costs are much higher because of the mandates that were put in place in the 2023 law. And so, what I was saying last night was the record doesn't necessarily match the rhetoric in terms of Michigan's economy. I mean, she talked about the national economy, but Michigan's economy is going backwards because of a lot of the stuff that she has signed into law over the last 8 years. And
the Detroit Regional Chamber just did a poll showing that people don't even realize that our per capita income is at the bottom of that list too.
Yeah. And so I think, there's a lot of room for improvement. There's stuff that she talked about. Obviously, the road funding thing last year was a great bipartisan accomplishment. And, I think like this banning cell phones in schools, we've come together on some good stuff, the dyslexia legislation. But I think there's, I'm skeptical that in the final 10 months, we can really make a lot of traction on some of the key issues that she talked about. Literacy, we've been, ever since they kind of gutted the third grade reading law a few years ago, we've been talking about we've got to do better on that. And when you see states like Mississippi, have a plan, put it in place, and now they're in the top 10 in literacy in the country. Michigan really needs to get going on that. And it's a bipartisan issue, and it has to get addressed bipartisanly. But, it's kind of like came in, kind of broke some of the things that were going on, and now trying to fix it in the last 10 months is just kind of a difficult thing for a lot of people to grasp. Obviously, on the housing thing, we've got to do a lot more on housing, but we have to also partner with our local government officials on housing. I was 7 years on Rochester Hills City Council, and I have concerns about some of the legislation to preempt their rules on zoning. At the same token, they need to have more of a sense of urgency with the state and with the people of the state that we need more housing, and how do we solve that, whether it's a regulatory burden, whether it's we're just putting too much on our home builders in terms of different regulatory obviously the zoning is part of it, but a lot of these communities want to have some housing and have some plans to do housing, and it's just in some of our cities, quite frankly, are pretty landlocked. I mean, they don't, you either have to build up or build out kind of thing.
Right.
So,
Senator, I know the governor talked a lot about compassion and empathy and protecting vulnerable people, and an audit found that the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services violated the rights of children and adults receiving care in state hospitals. When you first saw those findings, I mean, what was your reaction to that?
Well, we've been working on this issue and really with the parents and the patients for the last 3 years. And we finally put, we asked for the audit in 23. The audit finally came out in September of 25. And we've been doing oversight now since then. But mental health care is health care. We have to protect our vulnerable patients and our vulnerable kids. And a lot of times what the audit really is about, just to kind of make it plain, is, complaints are issued and they're not responded to. And so if you have a complaint process within a psychiatric hospital, you're not getting response, or you're not even getting good investigation on that. That's the real challenge.
It's a real disservice.
Yeah, and it's a real disservice. And so it's audio, video that just kind of, it works all the time, but somehow doesn't work during that particular interaction. And there's been some though where the video has come out and it's been pretty damning in terms of patients being egged on by staff to hurt other patients. And so there's a pending lawsuit on that right now.
So you think this is being done nefariously? Like, is this being done on purpose?
No, I think
incompetence?
I think it's incompetence, and I think it's some of the staffing over there. I think it's ultimately a leadership issue, and it's the leadership within those buildings. And they're going to move to a new building, which is going to be state of the art later this year. But my whole take from a sports standpoint was, I always say, well, do the Lions all of a sudden get better when they move to Ford Field from the Silverdome? No, it's the people in the building, it's the leadership, it's all that kind of stuff. And so the House Oversight Committee has done a hearing on this. They're going to do more hearings, and really where we're at right now is we're just asking for compliance on what the findings were in the audit.
Right.
The department ultimately agreed with a lot of the findings in the audit. They said, no, this is not going right, but they're not following their own procedures, their own policies. And now what they're saying is, hey, we changed some of the policies and procedures and we'll do better. We want proof, and we want, how is that going to be implemented, and how is that going forward going to be done in a proper way for these parents and
the patients. I'm curious to know, because now you guys are under the budgetary process as well. What's something that you want to focus on through that process?
That's a good question. I think the education stuff is going to be the biggest thing in a good bipartisan, hopefully, way, in terms of the per pupil funding, but also, if we're going to do some extra dollars for literacy, for tutoring for folks that really need it, I think that's going to be something that we can all rally around, and it's needed right now, especially when, the 44th in literacy is not going to change overnight, but it's going to be a process, and we have to put a plan in place. And ultimately, it's going to be up to the next governor and future legislatures to really kind of continue to implement that plan and stay consistent with it. That's what we need, is consistency on stuff like that.
We were in the break and you were talking about, you said, boy, you should have brought me in during that Pistons conversation. Big Pistons fan. They got a big win last night.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Big Pistons fans. I've been going for a number of years, including the Palace days. The Palace was a lot closer to where I live.
Yeah.
And just really proud of the team. Obviously, Cade, but just everybody on down.
JB has done a great job.
He's done a great job. And they have just a great mix of guys, with Javonte Green and Ron Holland, some of these guys that bring a lot of energy off the bench. And so, they're making us proud as Detroiters and as a region and a state. And we're rooting for them, obviously, as they get to playoff run.
And you're going Friday, so bring them a little luck.
All right, sounds good. Sounds good.
We need it against Cleveland.
Because they're looking pretty good these days.
Yeah, they picked up James Harden.
Yep.
So we'll see how that goes.
Senator Michael Weber, thanks so much for your time this morning. Appreciate you stopping by.
All right,
really good stuff.
It.
All right, we'll take a break, get you caught up on some of the headlines from Fox News, and on the other side, we're going to talk about our hospital systems here in the state of Michigan. It's next on JR Morning.
Need to sell your house fast? Whether you're facing foreclosure, stuck with bad tenants, or just ready for a fresh start, House Buyer Network can help. We buy homes as is for cash. No fees, no commissions, no repairs. Get a fair cash offer in just 24 hours and close in as little as 7 days. Call 833-719-5877 now for your free no-obligation offer. That's 833-719-5877. House Buyer Network. Fast cash, no hassle.
Offers are typically below market value in exchange for speed and convenience. Call for
for details.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different.
Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
People can't have access to quality medical care without affordable health insurance. At Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, we understand increasing health insurance costs are becoming more of a strain on the budgets of the businesses and people we serve. Affordability matters. It affects real families, real decisions, and real care. That's why at Blue Cross, we're dedicated to finding solutions. To learn about this critical issue and our efforts to make healthcare affordable for all, visit mibluedaily.com/affordability today.
Join Jack Razula every Saturday night at 10 p.m. for Anything is Possible. Hear Jack present uplifting stories of some of the world's most remarkable people and their extraordinary life journeys. Anything is Possible. Sponsored in part by Ideal Group. We are Ideal. The Detroit Economic Club is pleased to welcome Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear to their podium Wednesday, March 4th at Huntington Place in Detroit. Join DEC members and guests for a moderated conversation with Gary Torgo. For tickets and information, visit econclub.org.
Fox News, I'm Gianna Gelosi. The U.S. and Iran have begun another round of nuclear talks in Geneva.
If they try to rebuild the nuclear weapon, that causes problems for us. And in fact, we've seen evidence that they have tried to do exactly that.
Vice President J.D. Vance, the president, says he prefers to resolve the standoff through diplomacy, but
the Pentagon continues to bolster forces in the region. A squadron of fifth-generation F-22 Raptors arrived at an Israeli air base for the first time yesterday.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson, the Trump administration launching an investigation after Cuba's Coast Guard killed 4 people and wounded 6 others aboard a U.S. registered boat.
Cuba's Interior Ministry said the 10 passengers were Cuban nationals living in the U.S. and some had a known history of criminal and violent activity. And they claimed the group wanted to carry out an infiltration for terrorist purposes.
Fox's Stephanie Bennett, America's listening to Fox News.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by Stand Up to Cancer.
Joe Buck and John Smoltz welcoming you back to the City Center Convenience Mart. Uh-oh. She's looking at the cigarettes, but she just grabs the gum off the counter. Stand Up to Cancer and Rally want you to reduce your risk for cancer. Go to takeahealthystand.org.
Couple of crashes on the roads right now. Northbound 275 between Ann Arbor Road and M14. A crash is taking up the right lane. Traffic very slow through that stretch. Accident off to the right shoulder of eastbound 94 after Rawsonville Road. Westbound 94 slow between M59 and North River Road. Same thing with southbound M53 between 23 Mile and Hall Road. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. Partly cloudy today, a high of 37. Right now, it's 15. Few clouds tonight and a low of 26. Partly cloudy, mild tomorrow. High of 50. I'm Renee Vitale, WJR Traffic and Weather First.
I'm Pete Beauregard, third-generation owner of Colony Marine. We've been in business since 1958, and we sell boats, we service boats, and we're proud to be one of the largest in the United States. We've been with Tryon Solutions for about 10 years now. You know, they treat our team members like we're family. A great example of this is we just had a long-term team member that had some serious health issues. Tryon took care of all the paperwork so he could concentrate on his health and getting back to work. And that's why we rely on Tryon.
You can always rely on Tryon.
You will be facing major retirement decisions soon, and the math should drive every decision. And most people and professionals are using the wrong math. This explains why some families can safely withdraw 7 to 8% annually, while others struggle to spend 4%. Without understanding the math and the proper risk mitigation strategies, fear takes over, leading to undersaving, delayed retirement, spending far less than you could, and paying much more in taxes. Hi, I'm Kirk Cassidy, lead instructor for the Retirement Education Foundation and the co-host of the Retirement Education Hour, heard here Saturdays 6 a.m. and 1 p.m. To understand the correct math that should drive decisions around Social Security, lump sum versus pensions, RMDs, Roth conversions, and when you can retire plus more, attend our 8-hour almost master's level retirement education course. We teach at major universities both in Michigan and Missouri. $29 tuition goes to charity. Go to refedu.org. That's refedu.org. Sponsored by the Retirement Education Foundation, a charitable program.
We can't see tomorrow, but we can hear it. And it sounds like peace of mind, knowing our lakes will be better protected by placing Line 5 in the Great Lakes Tunnel. And that we've added extra safety measures while we work to build it, because we're committed to keeping the Great Lakes safe for generations to come. Tomorrow is on. Visit enbridge.com/line5 for more information. Enbridge. Life takes energy.
Never miss
The Daily Dose.
The Daily Dose.
The Daily Dose.
The Daily Dose
of Deets. The Daily Dose of Deets. The top of mind topics and stories.
Because America keeps building, innovating, and growing.
But at a depth and breadth that only Kevin Dietz can conceive.
Love doesn't have to be built on these grand gestures.
It's Can't Miss Radio.
You can't fake that kind of leadership Verlander is going to be able to bring to Scooball.
Kevin's own unique take on news and entertainment that'll get you talking all day.
Social media should not get a pass just because it's digital.
And into tomorrow. The Daily Dose of Dietz. First thing out of the gate on All Talk with Kevin Dietz. Weekdays at 9 on WJR. You're listening to JR Morning on WJR, with comments following last night's address by Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. Sponsored this morning by Enbridge, the Michigan Health and Hospital Association, and AdvisaCare. Once again from Courtyard Lansing downtown, Chris Renwick, Lloyd Jackson, and Jamie Edmonds.
Last year, we recognized that federal cuts would put 2.5 million Michiganders, a quarter of our population, at risk of losing their coverage and threaten hospitals in rural and underserved areas. We agreed, across the aisle, it wasn't right. So we took action. Our budget protected billions in funding for core Medicaid services. I want to thank Representatives Dr. Longjohn and Van Workum for their efforts here.
Healthcare was front and center at the governor's final State of the State address last night, with a focus on affordability, medical debt, workforce pressures, and long-term stability of hospitals across Michigan. And state leaders debate what comes next. Hospitals and health systems are watching closely because decisions made in Lansing directly affect patient care in every community. And to break down what the governor's message means to the state's healthcare system, we're joined by Laura Appel. She is Executive Vice President of Government Relations and Public Policy for the Michigan Health and Hospital Association. Laura, good morning. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
Good to see you. You listened to the governor's State of the State from a hospital perspective. What did you hear that felt encouraging, and maybe what raised some concerns?
Sure. So last night when she spoke, we would concur exactly with being grateful to the lawmakers who helped our budget come through last year for the fiscal year we're in right now. And we are committed to maintaining that level of support for Michigan's Medicaid program, and especially the Healthy Michigan Plan, which is our expansion. We are at risk for more than $6 billion in cuts to hospitals, specifically under the big bill. So we welcome all of the support we've gotten. In her budget message, the governor identified a Medicaid shortfall and identified some replacement revenues to go along with that. And I think achieving that budget through that mechanism could be a little tough. So that gives us a little bit of heartburn. But I do think that people really understand that we can't take any cuts now and then also keep sustaining those cuts that are planned as part of HR 1.
So then how do you avoid that? What's the message to lawmakers? How are you working around that?
Yeah, so I think that lawmakers really understand that their local hospitals are in, pretty significant financial distress. And that probably sounds odd given that people experience healthcare as quite an expense in their own budgets. But the growth in inflation for hospitals is about 3 times what the growth is in reimbursement. So we're already, feeling pressure that way. And we need to keep going back to lawmakers and to the administration to confirm where the challenges are and make sure we do this continuation budget. We're not asking really for anything more in this year's budget. We're really just saying
Maintain.
keep going where we are at. Yeah.
I know the governor highlighted efforts to limit medical debt as well. And from your vantage point, how do these proposals help patients, and where do hospitals worry about the unintended consequences?
Sure. So most hospitals are required to have financial assistance policies. That's part of being a nonprofit 501c3. And then our hospitals that are investor owned, they generally have these policies as well. So maybe there will be more nuances to the policies that could be required. We're absolutely committed to working on helping people avoid medical debt 100%, and perhaps doing an even better job of getting the word out that these policies are in existence. State Senator Sarah Anthony and State Senator Jonathan Lindsay are both great partners with the Michigan Health and Hospital Association. We've worked with them closely, and we think they have the best of intentions. We're gonna figure out how to do what it is that they've laid out.
Is it a risk that that even well-intentioned policies could really strain hospitals that are already operating? On the margins, especially in rural and underserved areas?
Yeah, I don't know if it's the medical debt policies that I see as the risk there so much as we have some upcoming new requirements for people who are working to demonstrate, report in that they're working to maintain their Medicaid coverage.
Gotcha.
And in other states that have tried to implement this, it hasn't gone very well. People get confused. Like they report in, they think they've done it, and it turns out it's a monthly requirement, not an annual requirement. Or they don't know that they're supposed to report, or they did report and for some reason they still lost their coverage anyway. We're very concerned about the work requirement reporting in terms of causing people to lose coverage. We're not opposed to the work requirement itself, but just want to make sure we implement that well. But, we have places that it doesn't sound like it's a lot, but you'll have a couple thousand people, like maybe up in Sheboygan County, that use Medicaid. And the unemployment rate there is like 13%. So I don't, I'm really worried about people who have coverage, need it to buy their insulin, and then, but can't find a job because the economy in that particular area isn't doing well. The unemployment rate in Washington County is 3.7%. If you want, I think if you want a job, you can probably get one down there, but it's not true about like our rural areas and such.
How does Michigan stack up in a lot of these metrics with other states, either in the region or around the country?
So in terms of the cost of our hospital prices for commercial insurers, we're third lowest in the country.
Okay. And
our third-party payers are great negotiators, and they've really driven those costs down. It still looks like a lot. We are doing better than the others in our region. We're much lower at that third lowest, but we are all facing things like incredible increases in prescription drug costs. The rate at which prescription drugs, a couple of years ago, a friend of mine who was at what was then Ascension, he would show that they got like 10% rate increases in some prescription drug costs for things that hospitals buy, not consumers at the pharmacy, but the drugs that we're buying to use in the hospital.
Sure.
They go up 10% on January 1. They'd also go up 10% on July 1. So, there's yeah, exactly. And that's not unusual. And, but modern medicine can be a miracle. Cystic fibrosis was a deadly disease, a disease that killed people by the time they were like 21. Not only did we get better drugs that help them, stay alive, there's a really great drug that helps cure them.
Oh, wow.
But it's like $250,000,
Right.
But what do you say to someone who struggled with something that makes it, difficult to, we've got to do what we can do.
Are some of the policies at the federal level going to help?
Yes.
They
will. Yeah, definitely. I think that we're most favored nation that the governor, that the president talked about in his speech. Yeah, I think you'll see some more stuff coming out on that in the near term.
And we got just a minute, but what would be the top health care priority on day one for a new governor? Because this is an election year.
Okay, so I'm going to punt a little bit and say I would like to choose at least 3 or 4, but one that we haven't mentioned yet this morning is the violence against healthcare workers. It is a terrible, terrible problem.
Wow.
And we are short probably about 20,000 people in hospital care. That's not healthcare. That's just hospitals. That's the vacancies we have. it's really hard to fill those vacancies when people fear that they could be injured on the job. And we need to do everything we can to build up our mechanisms to prevent and punish violence against healthcare workers when they're doing patient care.
Laura Oppel, Executive Vice President of Government Relations and Public Policy for the Michigan Health and Hospital Association. Appreciate you coming in this morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Next up, the governor. She'll be here.
Right here.
Sitting right here. Big Gretch out.
I was doing a podcast with Chris Alberta from Principium talking about planning for retirement. And boy, did he bring home a great point. You have beaten into me, and thank you for that the trip down the mountain is more important in terms of a planning strategy. Tell me why.
Because decumulation of wealth is a much different science than accumulation. The growth of wealth over time, especially when you're getting paid every 2 weeks or every month, putting new money into a stock market that is constantly moving up and down, it compounds that money just by default. As soon as you start withdrawing, Guy, and you're taking on a systematic basis big chunks of money out, every loss period is exacerbated. Every growth period is mitigated. You're not going to grow as much, and you're going to lose more when you're in a withdrawal period. So decumulation is the opposite of accumulation. It's a very specific science, and the rules around your life have to be tighter when it comes to management.
Call Chris Alberta today, 888-800-8949. That's 888-800-8949.
Most drivers don't think about their auto insurance until an accident happens. But the choices you make today can shape the care you receive tomorrow. In Michigan, unlimited medical benefits may help cover long-term treatment, in-home nursing and recovery services after a serious crash. AdvisaCare supports auto accident victims every day, helping them heal safely at home. Take a moment to understand your coverage and learn more at advisacare.com.
No matter where you look, rising costs are hitting Michiganders hard. And when you're forced to make tough choices, keeping the lights and heat on shouldn't be one of them. Consumers Energy is stepping up, giving back $5 million to assistance agencies and supporting efforts to increase energy assistance dollars for families in need by 50%. And with personalized energy savings programs, you can take steps to start reducing your energy bills today. So count on Consumers Energy for support. Learn more at consumersenergy.com/help.
Join Kelly Cobb and Jarrett Skurup along with special guests as they tackle the issues Michigan residents are thinking about on the Mackinac Michigan Radio Show Friday night at 7 p.m. They take a deep dive on the issues that affect every resident and business owner in the state. What will you need to know? Find out on the Mackinac Michigan Show Friday at 7 p.m. The Mackinac Michigan Show is sponsored by the Frank Beckman Center for Journalism and the Mackinac Center for Public Policy.
Hi, it's Dave Lorenz. The key to a great getaway is to know a bit about the place and to leave plenty of opportunity for discovery. We'll show you the way on the Michigan Travel Show, Sundays at 4 on 760 WJR.
Let's breathe. Deep inhale. Extend your spine. Exhale very slowly. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org. This message is brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ed Council.
You could win a Tullymore Result Golf Trip for two. Play both Tullymore and St. Ives courses. That's 54 holes of golf with a cart. Plus 2-night stay and complimentary breakfast, sponsored by the Michigan Golf Show. To enter, text keyword golf to 800-859-0957. Qualifiers will receive 4 tickets to the Michigan Golf Show March 6th through the 8th at Vibe Credit Union Showplace in Novi. For more details and official rules, visit WJR.com.
Visit Old St. Patrick Catholic Church for their 48th annual Lenten Fish Fry dinners every Friday, February 20th through March 27th from 4:30 till 7 p.m. Dinners include fish, choice of potato or mac and cheese, salad, and a beverage. Adult meals are $18 with discounts for seniors and children. Kids 4 and under eat free. St. Patrick Catholic Church is located at 5671 Whitmore Lake Road in Ann Arbor. For more information, visit stpatricka2.org.
Our representative, Jack Bergman, is standing up for radio listeners like us by supporting legislation to keep AM radio in cars. He knows the value of local radio in times of emergency. Now it's time for Congress to finish the job and pass the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act. Learn more at dependonam.com. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
WJR traffic and weather first.
This report is sponsored by Maple Grove Farms Pure Maple Syrup. Back in 1915, Maple Grove Farms started a sweet tradition on a Vermont family farm. Fast forward a century, and they're still pouring the magic onto your plate. Make mornings legendary. Grab your Maple Grove Farms Pure Maple Syrup bottle at Walmart today and let the goodness flow.
Quite a few crashes on the roads right now. Northbound 275 between Ann Arbor Road and M14. A crash taking up the right lane is causing backups to Ford Road. Accident on southbound 275 at 6 Mile. Traffic slow from 7 Mile. Northbound 75 at McNichols. That crash has traffic heavy from the Davison and Highland Road at M59, or Highland Road, I should say, at Tegardine Road. An accident there as well. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. Here's your forecast.
Got a nice push now of milder air coming in as we wrap up the week tomorrow. Still a bit chilly today with sunshine. It's already colder this morning, 35 later. Tonight, 28, suburbs colder. Tomorrow, breeze out of the south, southwest, so milder. Mostly sunny, 50. Partly sunny Saturday, 43. Chance of some light snow Saturday night. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stejik on 760 WJR, where Michigan comes to talk.
Call us or text us. The number's the same. 1-800-859-0957. 1-800-859-0WJR. Powered by Michigan Auto Law. Auto Accident Attorneys. Visit autolaw.com. That's autolaw.com.
I start and end every day thinking about you. Because of you, the state of our state is strong. And because of you, I know it always will be. Big Gretch out.
No. Big Gretch in. She's here. She's joined us this morning. Governor, it's good to see you.
Thank you. Good to be with you.
I will say, the one I thought your most poignant parts of your speech was last night. Talking to the people of Michigan, I thought was important, but your recounting of the importance that your families played in your life, your political life, your children's lives. You just recently lost your dad, and we're so sorry for that.
Yes.
But I thought it was a unique moment to pay homage to them, and I thought it was really special.
Well, thank you. You know, when you give your final State of the State, you take a moment and kind of reflect on all the others.
Yeah.
And as a legislator, I sat through John Engler's States of the State and Jennifer Granholm and Rick Snyder. And some of the people in that chamber weren't alive when John Engler was governor, you know? And so it's a moment of reflection. And I know I would not be here but for the family that has supported me and surrounded me and inspired me and educated me and loved me all the way along. And losing my dad last month was really hard. I almost started crying last night. I got real close.
Yeah.
But, it's been an honor, and it's been incredibly rewarding. And I learned about public service from him, my mother as well. And so it was just a moment to really touch on that.
Yeah.
And, speeches, a lot of times they tend to blend like reflection and urgency. Did this moment kind of feel like a closing chapter or pushing people to kind of finish the work you started?
I hope both. I mean, it was, like I said, I think sometimes we forget to see the humanity in one another, that we are all just ordinary people. I got an extraordinary role. I certainly have served under extraordinary circumstances, but I'm still a daughter, a mom, a wife. And, as I think about where we are as a state, I'm really proud of what we have been able to accomplish. But I'm also always very sober and impatient about what more I want to get done, right? Like that's what drives the work. And that's why I love the state of Michigan. That's why I believe in state government. That's why I'm hopeful that we can find common ground, whether it's on housing or healthcare or literacy. I picked those three things, not because they're going to throw everyone back off to their corners, but because I think we can find some common ground here. And people of Michigan expect us to and deserve for us to focus on those things.
And to your point, I mean, yeah, I'm sure there are things that you don't want them to be in the position they are, right? We don't want to be where we are with literacy. We don't want housing prices to be so low or so high. But then you thank Donald Trump last night, and I almost fell out of my chair. But when you took slack from members of your own party, we expect our governor to be doing those things. We want you to be working across the aisle, regardless of who's in office. So I think it should be, particularly for people in the Democratic Party, I think that should be a beacon for them to show that you can actually work with people that you disagree with.
I think, when I took my oath of office, it's to serve the people of Michigan, all the people of Michigan, the people that voted against me, the people that protested me, the people that, get online and say the horrible things. I still have a duty to work for them. As last year, I talked specifically about young men who I worry about falling behind. And some people are like, are you abandoning your commitment to women? I'm like, no, I care about everyone in Michigan. All 1 million young men, all 1 million young women. I care about the LGBTQ plus community that I talked about last night. I care about Republicans, Democrats, Independents, and people who haven't voted their whole lives. And I think that's what a governor's job is. And it's not easy, and not everyone understands it, even people in my own party or people on the other side of the aisle. But that's what the job is. That's what Bill Milliken did, and that's who I hold up as maybe the standard bearer of what a governor should be.
Tell us about this Get Stuff Done tour that you're on.
Yeah, well, the S is, for stuff when we're on radio, but you know what it really stands for.
Yeah, we don't need Brandon Carr breathing down our neck, Governor.
Yes,
Come on.
Yes.
No, one of my favorite things to do is, pomp and circumstance and long speeches are really not my gig, right? I like to be out and about with people.
Thanks for shortening that up for us.
Yeah.
From what we saw the night before, by the way.
Exactly.
Yeah, someone said half as long, twice as good. The first... the second part is opinion. The first part is fact. It was half as long.
Right.
But I like to engage with people. I didn't come up with fix the damn roads. It was talking to the people of Michigan who I said, what can I do that'll make your life better? That's where you learn what to focus on. That's where you know what's really going on in people's lives. And so I'm excited to get out and about all across the state, lift up what we've done, closing the gap in how we fund our schools, feeding 1.4 million kids breakfast and lunch, cutting the retirement tax, fixing roads, but also to hear what else do we need to be focused on? What do you need for the state of Michigan? So that's what the GSD tour is all about.
We know you got to run, but I have one more question for you. Could you envision a situation where you're giving a similar speech, maybe in a different chamber at some point?
Yeah.
It's lovely to see you both. And sorry, this is going to be my last State of the State with morning after with the two of you. But I look forward to talking to you soon.
We look forward to talking with you. Big Reg for real. We will talk to you soon. Governor Gretchen, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time.
Have a good day.
You too.
Yeah. We will step aside, take a break, get you caught up with some of the new headlines on the other side. 8 o'clock hour coming up. It's Chair Morning.
If you owe back taxes, listen carefully to rule number 1. Never go up against the IRS alone. They're cracking down, freezing bank accounts, garnishing paychecks, canceling passports. Even your home or business could be at risk. But here's what they don't tell you. The IRS has powerful tax relief programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. That's why smart people call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. Nobody knows these programs like the experts at Optima. Their team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $2 billion in tax debt for people just like you. The IRS is not stopping, so don't wait and don't take them on alone. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust. Call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-780-3599.
Okay.
800-780-3599. 800-780-3599.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Michigan hospitals are there for us 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. As healthcare costs rise, Michigan hospitals are prioritizing programs that reduce financial barriers and expand access to care. The new Michigan Health and Hospital Association Community Impact Report shows how hospitals help all Michiganders by strengthening the healthcare workforce, investing in preventative care, and serving as economic drivers in their communities. Learn more at micarematters.org.
This is Keith Kingston, tax partner at Metro Detroit accounting firm Schindel Rock, with our weekly tax tip for business owners. Starting in 2025 and through 2029, the amount allowed for the federal SALT deduction has increased to $40,000 for most taxpayers, but there are some limitations. So it's important to plan on the timing of those payments to maximize the deduction each year. Schindel Rock helps Metro Detroit businesses solve complex tax matters. Learn more at SchindelRock.com.
Detroit Pride isn't just a feeling, it's how we show up for each other. Every March 13th, the 313 comes alive, but this year, the Children's Center is turning that one-day celebration into a lifetime of support. Right now, children in our city are facing trauma and instability. They need more than just a moment, they need a legacy. That's why the Children's Center is launching the 313-day auction. Every dollar raised goes directly into a permanent endowment to ensure Detroit's kids have the care and guidance they deserve for decades to come. And the prizes? They're pure Detroit. Bid on a 24-person suite at Ford Field for Ed Sheeran or $10,000 in credit at the new Restoration Hardware. Best of all funds raised will be matched, doubling your impact on our community's future. The auction is online only and is live March 1st through March 13th. Every winning bid builds a permanent foundation of healing and hope for the 4,000 local children who count on us every year. Bid at thechildrencenter.com.
Visit Old St. Patrick Catholic Church for their 48th annual Lenten fish fry dinners every Friday, February 20th through March 27th from 4:30 till 7 p.m. Dinners include fish, choice of potato or mac and cheese, salad, and a beverage. Adult meals are $18 with discounts for seniors and children. Kids 4 and under eat free. St. Patrick Catholic Church is located at 5671 Whitmore Lake Road in Ann Arbor. For more information, visit stpatricka2.org.
This February, Detroit's heartbeat is louder than ever. Celebrate Black History Month in the city where legacy meets the future. Experience the Wright Museum's And Still We Rise exhibit. See the Rosa Parks bus at the Henry Ford. Catch the Mosaic Youth Theater at the DIA and so much more. Detroit, our history, our home.
This is the great voice of the Great Lakes. 760 WJR, Detroit, a Cumulus media station.
The U.S. and Iran have been talking again. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, indirectly through a mediator in Geneva today as President Trump demands Iran scale back its nuclear program, saying he won't let them build a weapon.
As the president has said repeatedly, he wants to address that problem diplomatically, but of course the president has other options as well.
As Vice President Vance, as the U.S. military buildup keeps growing in the Middle East.
Axios reports that White House envoy Steve Witkoff told a private gathering on Tuesday that the Trump administration is demanding that Iran agree any future nuclear deal will remain in effect indefinitely. Iran's foreign minister says his country is not ready to give up what he calls peaceful nuclear technology and warned it will retaliate if attacked, with U.S. bases in the region seen as a potential target.
Fox's Stephanie Bennett, she mentioned Steve Witkoff. He will also hold talks today in Geneva with Ukrainian officials. Last night, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky had a phone call thanking President Trump for his effort trying to stop Russia's war, which keeps raging with another barrage of Russian drones and missiles launched overnight across Ukraine. Now to a deadly shooting at sea.
It's not something that happens every day. It's something, frankly, that hasn't happened with Cuba in a very long time.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio, after 4 people were shot dead, 6 others wounded on a speedboat registered in Florida. Cuba claims those on board were armed Cubans living in the U.S. wanting to infiltrate the island and unleash terrorism.
The majority of the information we still possess is what Cuban authorities are providing both the public and the U.S. government. We have our embassy on the ground in Havana working this as we speak.
Olympic hero Jack Hughes, who scored the winning goal in the gold medal game, got a standing ovation last night in New Jersey as the NHL season resumed.
I'm so proud and I'm so happy that the men's and women's USA hockey teams brought gold medals back to the United States of America.
Hughes also went over and got his U.S. Olympic teammate Tage Thompson off of Buffalo's bench to join him in the spotlight at MSG, and then Thompson scored and led the Sabres to a 2-1 win over Hughes' Devils. America's listening to Fox News.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Wish you could save on home insurance? With Allstate, you could easily save and get quality protection. Yep, it's a win-win. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Northbound 275 between Ann Arbor Road and M14. We still have a crash shaking up the right lane. Traffic's backed up to Ford Road. Southbound 275 at 6 Mile. Accident there has traffic slowed to 8 Mile. Accident in the right lane of the Davison eastbound at Oakland Street. Highland Road at Tegardine. We have an accident there as well. And the Lodge slowed this morning southbound between McNichols and the Davison. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by Weather Seal Home Improvements. This morning, when having that cup of coffee, thinking about how to use that tax refund this year, upgrade it with Weather Seal Home Improvements to get an extra $1,000 to your refund towards your new roof. That's a smart deal. Book your roof inspection today at WeatherSealHomeImprovements.net. That's WeatherSealHomeImprovements.net. Partly cloudy today with a high of 37. Right now it's 15. A few clouds tonight and a low of 26. Partly cloudy, warm tomorrow, high of 50. I'm Renee Vitale, WJR Traffic and Weather First.
Now WJR Health Watch. Here's Lloyd Jackson.
Brain surgery has come a long way, and one of the most exciting advances is laser ablation therapy.
Traditional brain tumor surgery essentially consists of removing a part of the skull through a larger incision and then physically removing the tumor. Laser ablation is a less invasive way of achieving the same means of either killing or reducing the amount of tumor that's there.
That's Dr. Ian Lee, a neurosurgeon at Henry Ford Health and co-director of the Hermelin Brain Tumor Center. Dr. Lee explains the ideal candidates for this procedure.
The latest evidence or the recommendations that come from our national societies recommend that it's used for either recurrent or newly diagnosed gliomas. And so while these are a relatively uncommon tumor, they're also laser ablation is also very useful for brain metastases as well.
Dr. Lee says recovery is often faster, complications are fewer, and patients can return to daily life sooner. Some patients worry about having a laser inside their brain. Dr. Lee reassures them that the procedure is highly controlled and monitored in real time.
The way we use it safely is by using very fine navigation. So it's kind of like a GPS for the brain. And so we pre-plan our trajectory and then use a robot to place the laser fiber. In doing so, the risk of causing a bleed, which is the biggest risk with whenever you put something into the brain, is only about 1%.
For more information on laser ablation brain surgery, talk with your neurosurgeon or call the Henry Ford Hermelin Brain Tumor Center at 888-777-4167. I'm Lloyd Jackson for WJR Health Watch.
Our Representative Bill Huizenga is standing up for radio listeners like us by supporting legislation to keep AM radio in cars. He knows the value of local radio in times of emergency. Now it's time for Congress to finish the job and pass the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act. Learn more at dependonam.com. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Live from Courtyard, Lansing downtown, this is JR Morning on 760 WJR with Chris Renwick, Lloyd Jackson, and Jamie Edmonds, bringing you post-State of the State analysis, sponsored this morning by Enbridge, the Michigan Health and Hospital Association, and AdvisaCare. Now here are Chris, Lloyd, and Jamie.
All right, welcome back. 8 o'clock hour, broadcasting live from Lansing. Last night was the governor's final State of the State address. You hit on a number of different issues. And certainly when you look at insurance here in the state, that has been something that we have talked about for a very long time. Chris Scogan is the CEO and founder and president of AdvisaCare and joins us to talk a little bit about that. Chris, good morning to you.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
We're very well. Thanks for taking some time with us this morning. And let's talk a little bit about AdvisaCare, what you guys do, and what did you make of some of the governor's comments last night?
Good morning again. Thanks for having me this morning as well. And as she often is, she certainly is very personable and I thought it was a good last night. And I know she and our state, we've accomplished quite a bit as evidenced. I'm not a politician, gentlemen, but certainly evidence that I heard it there that our population's grown a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is a nice thing, right? And people coming back to our wonderful state.
I know you work with a lot of clients who've been injured via auto accident. Talk about the PIP medical portion of the auto insurance policy. What did that cover that regular medical insurance doesn't cover?
Yeah, thank you. So we've been through a lot over the last few years. If anybody's been involved or in an auto accident and injured, it's been a pretty trying time. But finally, our courts have supported that. Should we buy that PIP unlimited medical, and it's only $100 per vehicle. I know times can be tough for some folks, but our PIP coverage will cover any medical care that one would need post-accident in their recovery. And most importantly, it would cover things that our health insurance does not cover, nor does Medicare, which would include the hourly support that someone may need as they recover at home versus some other options as well.
What are we looking at these days for the average cost of long-term care when you're dealing with a catastrophic auto accident?
Yeah, good question. So as our governor mentioned, with wages increasing, I think she mentioned last night, right, that virtually no one's under $15 an hour anymore, and caregivers are certainly priceless as they help serve our families across Michigan. But we're typically looking at $35 to $40 an hour of cost for that care. So many of the folks that we take care of and our friends that do home care, provide these services throughout our state are charging and need to charge upwards of $6,500 a week or $300,000 a year to support people in their recovery.
Well, we certainly appreciate your time and your expertise in this area. There's still some confusion on this for a lot of people in the state, so we appreciate you coming on and talking about what AdvisaCare does and how you're helping people. So thank you so much, Chris Gogan. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah, we'll talk again very soon.
And now the lawsuit seeking to shut down Line 5 in the Straits of Mackinac. Well, that legal battle has reached a new stage with the U.S. Supreme Court hearing oral arguments over where the case should be tried. Let's speak with Ryan Duffy. He is here with us now. He is Corporate Communications and Media Relations for Enbridge. Ryan, nice to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Good morning. Good morning. It's good to see you guys in person here.
Yeah. So 7 years after this lawsuit was filed by Attorney General Dana Nessel, the U.S. Supreme Court heard arguments about Line 5. From Enbridge's perspective, why was it important for the Supreme Court to weigh in on the question of venue and removal of deadlines?
Yeah, well, first off, it was an incredible experience on Tuesday to be there in that room.
I'm
right
sure.
in front of the justices and really close to them. They're really just a few feet away from the attorneys making the arguments there. So that was really cool to see all that. So the specific thing they're looking at is really, it's more of a procedural issue around timing. Did we file to move the case to federal court quickly enough back when we did it? And this is the Attorney General's lawsuit from 2019, really seeking to shut down Line 5. So, it's been going on for a while, but the issue at the heart of it is going to be, where will this case be heard? Will it be state or federal court? From our perspective, these are federal issues. I mean, our regulator is a federal agency, PHMSA. This is a pipeline that goes between two countries, multiple states, so it's an international pipeline. And then Canada has invoked a treaty between the two countries, the 1977 Transit Pipeline Treaty, which basically says you can't shut down the pipeline. The other country needs it, so you can't just go ahead and do that. So judges have agreed with us. 2 federal judges already have agreed that these are federal issues. But I think just in any case, you see, these cases really don't help anybody. They take forever. Yeah. They go on and on and on. And really the fastest solution, we believe, if your goal really is to deactivate the existing Line 5 in the Straits, that's the tunnel. That's what's going to get this done.
Yeah. And I mean, it's hard to believe it's been this long. I mean, the pipeline at the very bare minimum would almost be done at this point. But here we are 7 years later, still dealing with this. And in that span, we've checked a lot of things off the list, right? The Army Corps of Engineers have done multiple studies. They've gotten all the information from that. And really now you're just waiting on the legal process.
We are, and the permitting, and we talked to you guys about that when you were up at the information center over the summer in St. Ignace. The Army Corps permit, that's the federal piece, and we really reached a big milestone with that just a couple of weeks ago. They issued their final environmental review on that. So that's been 6 years or so in the making, a lot of input going into that, a lot of public comment, and it's really looking at impacts. And we know just how important that is to minimize impacts there up where the construction is going to be happening. It's a very special place. We all know that. So this has to be a special project, and safety is going to guide us every step of the way, and also minimizing any impacts up there, whether it's the environment, cultural resources, those communities. That's really a big focus. That's what we want to do.
Well, we can attest to that. I mean, up at that center, you see all the radar with the pipe tracking that's currently there now. They see all the ships that are going through the straits. But then, I mean, the investment that Enbridge would be making to make sure that this is a safe project, it's very obvious.
Yeah, we're going to continue to make sure those pipelines are operated safely during the construction. And we have our Maritime Operations Center there watching the straits at all times. And we're about to actually hit the 10,000th ship to go through there with that system in place. So that's 10,000 ships we've watched and looked at, crossing through, made sure their anchors are up and stowed, made contact with those ship captains. And so that's really worked well to keep the Strait safe.
So expecting to get some type of response from the Supreme Court in June, and then yay or nay, whatever happens, then what happens? Is still more waiting?
It could be with that legal process. I mean, that case is really just then going to get started, and it was filed in 2019. So we're focused on the permitting. We want that federal piece. There's one state permit that's still out there. We're renewing that permit from Eagle. They actually gave it to us in 2021, but because this has gone on so long, that's expiring now. So we're asking to renew that. That's again looking at environmental impacts and like I said, it's extremely important we minimize those. That's the great thing about a tunnel project. All the construction's actually happening underground.
Yeah.
There's just 2 small construction sites on the north
with
and
some
south
unbelievable equipment, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh my
Those
God.
boring machines are unbelievable.
They are.
Right. So no construction in the water. You just get that boring machine into the ground on the south end. It goes through about 40 feet a day. So that's going to take a while. But then all we have to do on the north side is really dig a hole and pull it out piece by piece, So really focused on minimizing impact.
Yeah.
Ryan Duffy, Corporate Communications, Media Relations for Enbridge. Good to see you. Thanks for coming down.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Ryan.
Giving us an update on what's happening. We'll keep following it.
Yeah, I'd love to do it anytime.
All right.
Thanks. Thanks so much.
Coming up, Jamie Winkler, Executive Director of the Salvation Army Great Lakes Harbor System. Tomorrow's Radiothon, the Salvation Bed and Bread Truck Radiothon, kicks off actually virtually this afternoon. Also, Matt Hall, Speaker of the House, joining us as well. That's next on JR Morning.
Tonight, someone in our community will need a warm bed. Tomorrow, they'll need a meal. You can help make both possible. Join the club that's here for good by texting BREAD to 24365. Your support helps provide over 71,000 nights of shelter and more than 1.6 million meals a year. Tune in to the Bed and Bread Club Radiothon on 760 WJR, Friday, February 27th.
When Michigan's underground systems fail, everyone feels it. Old water and stormwater pipes mean flooded streets, dirty water, and damaged roads. These systems protect our homes, our schools, and the places we work, but many were built generations ago and can't keep up today. If we don't fix what's underground, we risk what's above ground. Safety, jobs, and our future. A strong Michigan depends on strong infrastructure starting below the surface. It's time to invest before small problems become big disasters. Learn more by visiting the website thinkmita.org.
Did you know GoodRx can help you save on medication, manage prescriptions, and get trusted health information? If you're one of the millions living with a heart condition, check GoodRx for an easier, more affordable way to manage your health. GoodRx offers common heart medications for under $30. Just search for your prescription, find the best price, then show your pharmacist the GoodRx coupon. And it works whether you have insurance or not. To start saving and better manage your heart health, download the free app or visit GoodRx.com today. GoodRx is not insurance but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Hi friends, Bill Golly here, and let's get that New Year's resolution completed with a brand new Jeep during our President's Day sales event at Golly Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. This month, well-qualified Chrysler employees with lease loyalty can lease a 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo 4x4 for just $319 a month. Leases for 39 months, 10,000 miles a year with $2,000 down, plus tax title plates and dock car extra. So come see our great values at Golly Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Bloomfield Hills, Chelsea, Roseville, or our newest location on Mack in Detroit, or always at Golling.com.
Are you concerned about outliving your money? If so, tune in to Money Talks with Joseph Uplegger, Saturdays at 5 p.m. Joe will help make sure you get the retirement you deserve, Saturdays at 5 p.m., right here on WJR 760.
Michigan hospitals are there for us 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. As healthcare costs rise, Michigan hospitals are prioritizing programs that reduce financial barriers and expand access to care. The new Michigan Health and Hospital Association Community Impact Report shows how hospitals help all Michiganders by strengthening the healthcare workforce, investing in preventative care, and serving as economic drivers in their communities. Learn more at micarematters.org.
WJR traffic and weather first.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Don't wait to save. Mattress Firm's President's Day sale ends soon. Their sleep experts are highly trained to find the right bed for your specific needs. Easier search, better rest. Get both today. They make sleep easy.
Northbound 275 between Ann Arbor Road and M14. That crash has just cleared. However, traffic's still very heavy from Ford Road. An accident's blocking the right lane of the Davison eastbound at Oakland Street. That's causing delays to Woodward. Slow travel on the Lodge southbound between McNichols and the Davison. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel, sponsored by the National Electrical Contractors Association, NECA. Put the expertise and skill of NECA contractors to work on your commercial, industrial, or public electrical construction project. NECA members like Dan's Excavating are powering Michigan's future, project after project, on time and on budget. Learn more at smcneca.org. Here's your forecast.
A bit colder morning and a chilly day today, but warming up nicely for tomorrow weekend. Maybe a little snow by Saturday night. But off to a great start here on this Thursday. Sun will win today, 35 tonight, some clouds, upper 20s. Outlying areas will be a little bit colder. Sun breezy, milder, near 50 tomorrow. And then it's Saturday night late. We might see just a touch of snow. From the Weather Channel, meteorologist Ray Stageicott on 760 WJR, where Michigan comes to talk.
I'm Kevin Dees. Coming up on All Talk, Gretchen Whitmer's final State of the State. What will her last speech look like? We will talk with Democrat Winnie Brinks and Republican Matt Hall to break it all down. All Talk is 9 to noon, and you can stream us anytime at WJR.com.
All right, welcome back. Broadcasting live from Lansing here. Post-State of the State speech by Governor Gretchen Whitmer, her final of her job.
Yeah.
Running out at the end of the year, and she gave her last speech last
Big Gretch
night.
out.
Big Gretch out, as she mentioned. The Speaker of the House, Matt Hall, joins us here at the Courtyard Marriott. It's good to see you. Good to actually see you.
I know.
You talk on the phone all the time.
I know. I call in from Richland near Kalamazoo, but
Yep.
it's nice to be here with you in person in Lansing.
Yes.
We love the west side of the state. It's a great area of the state.
Yeah, a lot going on there. So
Yeah.
a lot of good things in Grand Rapids and Kalamazoo. We're building a new arena in Kalamazoo.
Yeah.
Saw that. Yeah.
So that'll be big for Western Michigan basketball and
We need to
hockey.
get the hockey team up
Yeah.
and running, defending national champions.
Yeah.
What'd you make of the speech last night? It seemed pretty bipartisan. Gave you a high five at one point.
Yeah.
What'd you
yeah.
make of it?
Well, I appreciated the recognition on the paid sick leave. You know, that was probably the biggest business legislation that's been done since I've been up here, and which is Whitmer's whole term as governor. You know, we saved a lot of people's jobs in the restaurant industry, the tipped workers, and then we ensured they had paid sick leave, but they also had a job. That's important. And then when we look at the roads, you know, the governor highlighted my work with her on the roads. Most people didn't think we'd get that done. When we were sitting here last year, people didn't think we were going to get it done. It was really hard, but ultimately we compromised. We made a deal. I believed we could do it by cutting waste, fraud, and abuse. The governor wanted to raise new revenue, and ultimately we met in the middle. I said, look, I'll match you dollar for dollar, cutting waste, fraud, and abuse, and I'll give you revenue. And that ended up being mostly the marijuana tax.
Right.
And we'll dedicate all the money collected at the pump to roads. And she said, okay, deal. And so that's how we got $2 billion a year permanently to roads by setting better priorities in government. And so she highlighted that, and I appreciated that, you know, she singled me out for that, because really her and I willed that into happening. There were a lot of people wanting to make excuses, but her and I got that done. And, you know, that's what she campaigned on. And she needed a partner who was willing to lead to help her get it done. And she had to wait 7 years, but then I became speaker.
Better late than never.
I got it done. So I think that was probably the highlight of her speech, you know, was the ability to say I did that.
Yeah.
So I thought that was good. And, you know, there were a few areas where she laid out, I think we can work together as well. I do think it was a safe speech, kind of low hanging fruit, a lot of backward looking. I liked her to, I still think we can do some big, bold things together. I really want to eliminate the state property tax.
Yeah.
And do something that's going to save Michigan families $900 on average a year. That's going to be another heavy lift, but I think we laid that groundwork with what we did on roads, and I think we can do it this year.
When you cut those property taxes, you're talking about expanding the 6% sales tax to a lot of different services to make up that money.
Yeah, we're looking at some of these more luxury services, ones that are more discretionary. It's interesting. I mean, you look at the private jet services, the country club memberships, a lot of things like that. You can put the 6% tax on, but if we can get rid of the state property tax and eliminate the 6 mills on everyone's property taxes, that's huge. That's going to be $900 a year on average in savings. Also, we're looking at eliminating the personal property tax, which is a big tax for small business and the utilities. And in exchange for that, I want to lower the utility rates by $1 billion. I'm going to put it in the law. They've got to do that, and we're going to freeze it. And that'll save the average Michigander about $240 a year. And then we want to get rid of the real estate transfer tax. That's a $2,000 or $3,000 tax on every real estate transaction. It's not good. And then get rid of this pop-up tax. That's discouraging people from selling their homes. You sell your home, and then your taxes go up 2 or 3 times, even if you're building or buying a smaller home. A lot of seniors want to live in smaller homes. They won't move because they're saying, I move into a smaller home, my taxes are more.
That's right.
And that's a big problem in Detroit.
It is.
So we're looking at that major tax reform. It would be the biggest tax reform in Michigan's history, bigger than Proposal A. But I think we need to modernize our tax system for a service economy, and we really need to give people that property tax relief.
Well, we're looking to sell our house, get a new house. So you're talking, you're
preaching to the choir.
Talking my language now, Mr. Speaker. We have just a minute left here. The governor also talked about the budget. You guys are knee deep in that process. Mm-hmm. She wants to get it done on time. Is that realistic, do you think?
Well, the governor's proposing, because when we cut taxes, no tax on tips, overtime, Social Security, we put that in the state law to amplify President Trump's working families tax cut. Michigan families are going to save a lot of money on that. We did that. We also did the roads deal. That created an $800 million shortfall this year. So now the question is, are we going to raise taxes, which is what the Democrats propose, or cut waste, fraud, and abuse, which is what I propose? And it's cutting about 1% of government. I think government, we can get 1% more efficient. Whitmer is proposing raising taxes by $800 million and raiding the rainy day fund. If they're really committed to that, we're going to have a long budget conversation.
Yeah.
If they're willing to move off that and work to get more efficient, I think we'll get a deal very quickly.
House Speaker Matt Hall, great to see you. Thank you for your time, and we'll talk again very soon.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got it. Meanwhile, tomorrow, a very exciting day for us at WJR. Yes. It is our annual radiothon benefiting the Bed and Bread Club of the Salvation Army that does such wonderful things in the Metro Detroit community. Jamie Winkler is the executive director of the Salvation Army Great Lakes Harbor Light System and joins us to talk about it. Jamie, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Let's talk about how important these funds are to the programs that you guys offer.
Yeah, it's extremely important. This is the time of year that we do the heavy lifting for the next 12 months. And I have to tell you, the need out in Metro Detroit area is extremely high. And when you think of when you go to the grocery store and how far your dollar can go at a grocery store, I want to say that giving $120 is the main gift that most people give for this radiothon. Actually feeds 10 people for a month. $120 will feed 10 people for a month. And today, just like every single day of the year, we're serving about 4,500 meals today. And that's a lot of people. These are children, these are neighbors, seniors, families that are coming to our trucks who need help just to make ends meet. And just kind of piggybacks on your previous conversation.
Well, you know what? Well, here's the good news. We've been on this truck. We know how important it is.
have.
You can actually start virtually today at 4:00. Everything kicks off at 4:00, and then we'll be live tomorrow. We got to run. More coming up on JR Morning.
To get ahead of lead and improve your drinking water quality, use a lead-reducing water filter if your home has or may have lead plumbing, a lead service line, or faucets older than 2014. Keep water moving with everyday activities like laundry, dishes, or showers. Before drinking or cooking, run your tap until water is cold. Clean faucets, aerators every 6 months. Learn more at michigan.gov/getaheadoflead. A message from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services and the Michigan Association of Broadcasters.
Call us or text us. The number's the same. 1-800-859-0957. 1-800-859-WJR. Powered by Michigan Auto Law. Auto Accident Attorneys. Visit autolaw.com. That's autolaw.com.
Listen in for the Cranes Detroit interview with Mike Lee every Monday morning on JR Morning. Brought to you in partnership with Mercantile Bank. Looking for a new business bank? Mercantile can help drive your business forward. Learn more at mercbank.com.
760 WJR. Custom built for Detroit.
WJR invites you to experience country music icons Brooks and Dunn in concert when they bring their Neon Moon Tour to Pine Knob Music Theater September 24th. Tickets on sale at 10 a.m. this Friday, February 27th at Ticketmaster.
Visit Old St. Patrick Catholic Church for their 48th annual Lenten Fish Fry dinners every Friday, February 20th through March 27th from 4:30 till 7 p.m. Dinners include fish, choice of potato or mac and cheese, salad, and a beverage. Adult meals are $18 with discounts for seniors and children. Kids 4 and under eat free. St. Patrick Catholic Church is located at 5671 Whitmore Lake Road in Ann Arbor. For more information, visit stpatricka2.org.
For physical health, mental health, and everything in between, Blue Cross is ready to help. Learn more at bcbsm.com.
Fox News, I'm CJ Papa. Preventing Iran from developing a nuclear program, Vice President J.D. Vance.
The president sending those negotiators to try to address that problem. As the president has said repeatedly, he wants to address that problem diplomatically, but of course the president has other options as well.
Indirect talks with the host, Oman, in Geneva today between the U.S. and Iran, the goal of preventing a war. Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, they're involved in the talks with Iran, and later they trilateral discussion with Russia and Ukraine, trying to stop Russia's war, which entered a 5th year on Tuesday. The Biden FBI subpoenaed the phone records of current FBI Director Kash Patel and President Trump's Chief of Staff Susie Wiles while they were private citizens in connection to the 2020 election interference case by Jack Smith, the FBI Director calling it outrageous. America's listening to Fox News.
WJR traffic and weather first.
This report is sponsored by Stand Up to Cancer.
Joe Buck and John Smoltz welcoming you back to the City Center Convenience Mart. Uh-oh. She's looking at the cigarettes, but she just grabs the gum off the counter. Stand Up to Cancer and Rally want you to reduce your risk for cancer. Go to takeahealthystand.org.
Quite a few crashes on the roadways this Thursday. Eastbound on the Davison at Oakland Street. That crash taking up the right lane has traffic backed up to Woodward. Eastbound 94 at Wayne Road, an accident in the 3 left lanes there. Traffic slow from 275. Crash off to the right shoulder of the Jeffries. Eastbound at Evergreen. Same story on southbound 275 at 94. And northbound 275 between Ann Arbor Road and M14. An earlier crash there has cleared. Traffic still slow from Ford Road. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. Partly cloudy today with a high of 37. Right now, it's 17. Few clouds tonight with a low of 26. Partly cloudy, warm tomorrow, high of 50. I'm Renee Vitale, WJR traffic and weather first.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter? Right? And the best part, they accept Discover. Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer. Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times. Right. So we shouldn't get the parachute pants? These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
Hi, I'm Michael from the Warren Treaty. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. Only Novo Nordisk makes FDA-approved Ozempic. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5 milligram, 1 milligram, and 2 milligrams.
At Average Amy's Coffee Corner, our coffee has caffeine, our muffins are cooked, and our services, well, we're here. Come on by for an average cup of joe.
Average doesn't build great businesses. Cumulus Digital does, outperforming industry benchmarks by more than 25%. We deliver smarter digital marketing to over 4,000 local businesses every month and drive real, measurable growth. You're not average. Your marketing results shouldn't be either. Visit cumulusdigital.com to start outperforming today.
Call us or text us. The number's the same. 1-800-859-0957. 1-800-859-0WJR. Powered by Michigan Auto Law. Auto Accident Attorneys. Visit autolaw.com. That's autolaw.com.
Hey, Jim Harper here. Like many of you, I got LASIK surgery back in the 90s. Recently, I started having trouble seeing, and it turns out they never told us LASIK doesn't last forever. So now what? Glasses? I haven't worn them in years, and I'm as vain as the next person. But then I remembered Mariana and the staff at Direct Optical Optique and how great they were at finding cool frames that look good on me because they're frame stylists. You can't get that on the web or a big box store. And nobody has a bigger selection of designer frames than Direct Optical Optique. And Mariana still knows everybody by name. She's still selling cool glasses, one pair at a time, with a very personal touch. So if you wear glasses now or are wearing them again, you gotta go to Direct Optical Optique and let them treat you like a star. They're the only ones who can do that. And they have two great locations, Haggerty Road north of Maple in West Bloomfield and in Canton on Ford Road next to IKEA. And at OptiqueDetroit.com.
You're listening to JR Morning on WJR with comments following last night's address by Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. Sponsored this morning by Enbridge, the Michigan Health and Hospital Association, and AdvisaCare. Once again from Courtyard Lansing downtown, Chris Renwick, Lloyd Jackson, and Jamie Edmonds.
Our next guest in person. We were both waiting in line to ride the baseball Ferris wheel at Comerica Park.
Oh, wow.
It was a long line that day.
It really was. I ran into Senator Mallory McMorrow, and we were both hot. It was, a million degrees out in the summer, but it was Kids Day at Comerica Park.
It was.
So it was nice to see you and your family, and it's good to see you now today.
Good to see you.
So the last one, Big Gretch out, as she said in her final address to the state.
Big
last night.
Gretch out.
There it is. What did you make of the governor's speech?
I loved it. The tone was perfect. It was reflective, but it didn't ignore the fact that there are still issues that we need to work on. I think it set a tone for us to come together as the legislature. We're in divided government now for the next year and really work together on literacy, on housing, on healthcare. But she took the time, and I think well-deserved, to look back at all that we have done. Create a universal breakfast and lunch program, create universal pre-K, seniors this year not having to pay the seniors pension tax, putting $1,000 back in seniors' pockets, and so much more. She's done a lot, and I was in the front row and was deeply moved with her reflecting on her daughters, her dad, her mom, and how long she's committed to being in government.
Yeah.
It's quite a career.
She also spoke about empathy and resilience and protecting vulnerable communities. How do those themes kind of resonate with you as a legislator and someone considering representing Michigan and Washington?
Yeah, it's a great question. There was quite the stark contrast. We had the State of the Union the night before, the State of the State the next night. And one night we had the president claiming that there's a golden age and that he's tired of everybody winning. And that's not what I hear on the ground. That for certain people, yeah, you might be winning. The president himself has now padded his pockets to the tune of $1.4 billion since taking the presidency that we know of. But a lot of people are canceling their health insurance plans because they're ACA premium skyrocketed, and they can't do both. They can't pay for healthcare and childcare and their mortgage. And I think striking the tone of empathy, recognizing, yeah, some people are doing really well. A lot of people aren't. And that is the role that we have as public officials, is to make sure everybody has the chance to have the American dream.
I mean, the problem is we run into these situations where, yeah, we've now finally arrived at a place where we've got road funding. Thank God, after decades and decades, and that is the fault of Democrats and Republicans for many years for not coming through on a comprehensive road plan. But no shade to our friends in Mississippi. We should not be below Mississippi on our education. Our per capita income in the state of Michigan, as the Detroit Regional Chamber pointed out, should not be at the bottom of the country. It shouldn't be that way. So I guess my question is, what do we have to do to raise those? And quickly, like, we have to really be making serious progress in a very fast way, it feels like.
We do. And we didn't get here overnight. So Michigan and Massachusetts used to be neck and neck for the best education systems in the entire country. And over the course of, frankly, my lifetime, we've gotten to where we've gotten. Now, there are silver linings. Over the last year, we've seen high school graduation rates increase. We've seen test scores increase. We've seen the number of people with a college degree increase. There are positive signs that we are moving in the right direction. We passed legislation, as the governor mentioned, to restore phonics education back into curricula. We had over 400 different curricula being taught across the state. And yes, local control is really important, but when you can't even agree about the way that we should be teaching kids to read, it's no wonder why a lot of kids can't. And that is frustrating. You know, I've sat with some kids who really struggle in putting the words together, and you can just see how deflated they are. You want to, and I want to make sure we're not maligning kids. It's not the kids' fault. So by restoring phonics education, I think we're going to see Michigan start to make those gains. By making sure we're testing every child for dyslexia, we're making sure we're identifying early who needs extra help, who needs tutoring. But you're right, on per capita income, that's been something that I have found a great partnership in Senator John DeMoose on recognizing we need long-term comprehensive direction for economic development that doesn't just center jobs created. That's our traditional metric. Every time we see a press release, it's, you know, we announce this many jobs were created. Well, that's great. But if those jobs are paying $13 an hour, that's not going to get you to a salary that's going to make you be able to buy a house. We heard last night, the governor said you need to make $90,000 in Michigan now to be able to afford to buy a house. The average salary in Michigan is around $45,000.
Right. Yeah.
You need to make twice the annual average salary just to afford a home. So we need to really retool where we're going as a state. And I think we need to be centering metrics like median household income and not just jobs created. If these are low wage jobs, we shouldn't be competing for them. Let's compete for the top so we can set our people up for success.
You know, both the governor and the president spoke about leadership and vision and accountability in different ways. How do you define leadership that actually gets results for Michiganders, and how would that guide your approach in the U.S. Senate?
It's a great question. You know, we now have two terms in a row where our sitting U.S. senator has decided not to seek re-election. Last cycle, it was Debbie Stabenow. Now it's Gary Peters. And in 22, I had people reaching out to me. This was after we had just took control of everything as Democrats here in the state government. We took the House, we took the Senate, had a historic trifecta. And people asked me then, are you going to run for Senator Stabenow's seat? And I said, no. You know, the reason that I did this work, the reason that I opened a PAC, the reason that I supported a dozen other candidates running for state Senate was not just to win, it was to govern. So I am incredibly proud that we passed sweeping gun violence prevention. I lost a friend to gun violence. That is something deeply important to me. That we've invested in community violence intervention, which has been proven in Detroit and around the country to lower crime rates by building trust in the community, in creating a breakfast and lunch program, in creating a pre-K program. So that to me is what leadership is. It is not just politics. Politics is the process of running and asking for votes so you get into the seats. But when you get the seats, you better do what you told people you were going to do. We are never going to restore faith in government and institutions if it's just about politics and who can throw a punch and who's going viral. That's not it.
Do you envision maybe a different approach to how you would be a U.S. senator? Maybe something different from what we're seeing now in Washington?
Oh my God, I hope so. I mean, the federal government hasn't passed an entire year's budget in who knows how long. I mean, it's continuing resolution after continuing resolution. I have really good relationships here on the other side of the aisle. I mentioned John DeMoose, Senator Bumstead, Senator Victory. I mean, these are people I consider really good colleagues and friends. And we've been having conversations about what it looks like in Washington. And I've promised a few of the guys here, I'm going to try to build relationships like this in Washington. I want to sit down with every one of my colleagues in the U.S. Senate one by one to get to know them. Tell me about your family. Tell me about why you're here, why you want to do this. And I'm really encouraged in this moment. You see partnerships with Ro Khanna and Thomas Massey on the Epstein files.
Sure.
They could not be farther apart
That's
on the
right.
political spectrum.
Yeah.
But when it comes to protecting vulnerable girls from sexual exploitation, they're there and they're working together. And I think that's a good model, that we don't have to agree on every issue, but surely there are some issues where we do agree and we can work together. And I feel like the dam is breaking, that people want to see bipartisanship, and not just bipartisanship for the sake of slapping a bipartisan label on it, but that you actually care about the things that Michigan families care
Well,
about.
I think that's why it was important for the governor last night to talk about Donald Trump.
Yeah.
You know, thank him for his efforts
With
on
Selfridge.
Selfridge, right? Because that's important to us here. So I don't care what the national media says. I don't care what national Democrats say. She has to do something for the state of Michigan. She did. I don't know why you get blowback for that.
Well, and can I tell you, when I heard blowback when she made that appearance in the Oval Office, it wasn't from people in Michigan. It was national reporters and national pundits saying, why did she do that? Why did she walk in there? Why was she holding those folders? She knew she had to meet with him.
Right.
She knows this is a man who operates in flattery, and she didn't care, if she had to take some egg on face to do it.
Yeah.
She was going to do it because we needed something back home.
Yeah.
She's the governor of Michigan. She
Exactly.
was getting what she needed for her constituents.
That's her job.
Exactly. Senator Mallory Moore, thank you so much for your time. It's great to see you.
Yeah, good to see you
We'll
guys.
talk
I'll
again
see you
very
in line
soon.
for the fair.
You probably will. That's exactly right. All right, we'll take a break. Coming up on the other side, Eric Nesbitt here on JR Morning.
Your business isn't one size fits all, and your IT partner shouldn't be either. At Callisto Group, we provide cybersecurity-focused managed IT services designed around your business, offering personalized support, proactive monitoring, and experts who know your company by name. There's no call centers, no guesswork, just seamless technology and trusted partnership. Discover the difference at CallistoGroup.com. That's CALYSTO Group.com.
Overcoming adversity, staying positive, and giving back to the world we live in defines the Denise Illich Show. This week, Denise sits down with John Oberheid, co-founder of Duo Security, to talk about how his childhood was shaped by his fascination with technology and starting his first business in middle school. She also talks with Gigi Dolly, junior poli-sci major at the University of Michigan, about how AI intersects with her everyday life and the effects of using it. Listen Saturday at 4 p.m. to the Denise Illich Show, sponsored by Secure Financial Group. Michigan hospitals are there for us 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. As healthcare costs rise, Michigan hospitals are prioritizing programs that reduce financial barriers and expand access to care. The new Michigan Health and Hospital Association Community Impact Report shows how hospitals help all Michiganders by strengthening the healthcare workforce, investing in preventative care, and serving as economic drivers in their communities. Learn more at micarematters.org. Join Jack Krasula every Saturday night at 10 p.m. for Anything is Possible. Jack presents uplifting stories of some of the world's most remarkable people and their extraordinary life journeys. Anything is Possible with Jack Krasula, sponsored by St. John's Resort.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back?
back. If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code COIN to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code COIN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code COIN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
WJR invites you to experience an evening with multi-Grammy award-winning band and Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees Chicago, live June 29th at Detroit's Fox Theater. Tickets on sale starting at 10 a.m. Friday, February 27th at Ticketmaster.
Are you tired of exposing your retirement savings to stock market risk? There are strategies you can use to keep your money safe no matter what happens in the stock market. Join us for Money Talks with Joseph Uplager, Saturdays at 5 p.m. right here on WJR 760.
WJR traffic and weather first.
This report is sponsored by WeatherBug.
Get the fastest local alerts and accurate 24/7 forecasts with WeatherBug. It's easy to use and provides real-time customizable alerts so the weather never takes you by surprise. Plan every day with confidence. Download the free WeatherBug app from the App Store now.
On the Jeffries eastbound at Evergreen, we have a crash off to the right shoulder. Accident taking up the 3 left lanes of eastbound 94 at Wayne Road. Traffic slow from Haggerty. Also delays on westbound 94 between Chalmers and Van Dyke. Same with the Lodge southbound between Wyoming and the Davison. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. Here's your forecast.
Pretty good couple of days. It's heavier jackets today. Might shed a layer tomorrow with some milder air in. Some clouds, otherwise clear, cold this morning. Mostly sunny later. 35. Tonight, upper 20s. Suburbs get a little colder. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, breezy, and milder. Somewhere around 50 degrees. And a good start to the weekend. Saturday, partly sunny, low 40s with maybe a little snow late Saturday night. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ray Stagicon, 760 WJR, where Michigan comes to talk.
Call us or text us. The number's the same. 1-800-859-0957. 1-800-859-WJR. Powered by Michigan Auto Law. Auto Accident Attorneys. Visit autolaw.com. That's autolaw.com.
Time flies by when you're having fun. Live here in Lansing.
That it does.
Following Governor Gretchen Whitmer's final State of the State address. And we've heard from a lot of different lawmakers, obviously a lot of different perspectives, depending on what side of the aisle you fall on. But Senator Eric Nesbitt gave the rebuttal last night to the governor. And he's running for governor himself here in the state of Michigan. And so that platform for him, he said very simply, it's time to turn the chapter, this dark chapter in Michigan history, and move on to something with maybe a little more sunshine on the other side. So let's bring in Senator Eric Nesbitt to talk about it. Good morning, Senator.
Well, good morning. And it does seem like the sunshine is wanting to poke out, at least here in West Michigan, where I'm at right now.
It's poking out here in Lansing, too.
It is.
Well, that's good. Sorry I can't join you in person, but it was great to join you guys yesterday. But really last night, despite anything Governor Whitmer said, the reality of the state of the state is that it's harder and harder for Michigan families, job creators, and our kids to make it right here in Michigan since she's taken office. Michigan ranks near the bottom 10 nationally in education and reading scores and economic growth and household income and job creation. These are you want to be in the top 10, not in the bottom 10. And we continue to fall further and further behind in other states, even states like Indiana and even Ohio are seeing population growth, are getting education better. We got to get back to a growth perspective so that every family can make it here in Michigan, and we keep more money in hardworking families' pockets, make it easier for job creators to invest and grow, but most importantly, making sure our kids can read and parents have choice, and we get the wokeism and DEI out of our schools.
Senator, on roads and infrastructure, the governor touted those historic funding deals, bipartisan deals. Do you think those investments are enough, and what would you do differently to ensure, safe, reliable roads for all communities?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The last 7 years, our roads have not really increased in terms of the quality and the investments that have made. We need to go ahead and root out the waste, fraud, and abuse in state government to make sure that folks driving on our roads aren't having to worry about chipped windshields and refusing to replace them because they know that windshield is just going to get chipped again, or worried about broken tie rods. The last 7 years, the state government's budget's grown by 50%, $58 billion. The governor just proposed an $88 billion budget. And I don't know about you, but I haven't met a Michigan family that's seen a 50% increase in their paycheck. And this is about working to prioritize state spending, root out waste, fraud, and abuse at all levels of government, and prioritizing that we're investing and fixing our roads and making sure that it's easier to get to work and school, making sure that our schools are performing well, and backing the blue, making sure law enforcement can enforce the laws here. And so we got to continue to prioritize our spending. Unfortunately, under Governor Whitmer, the last 7 years, she spent nearly $5 billion on corporate welfare for some of the most profitable corporations in the world, some related to the Chinese Communist Party. That's wrong. That same money could have fixed every local critical condition bridge in the state of Michigan 3 times over. And that's why I'm running for governor. That's why I'm continuing to take the fight to the Democrats to make sure that we fix these problems here in Michigan to make us a more competitive state so families can make it here in Michigan.
So whether it's education or road funding or the economy or the population, how do we improve on all of these aspects? Because it's unfortunately the slide has been long, but it's also been accelerated over the last decade. So how do we accelerate it in the opposite direction?
Yeah, now is not the time to talk about tax increases like what Governor Whitmer proposed. She proposed $1 billion in new taxes, raiding the rainy day fund. That's wrong. Like the governor has called, we must lower taxes, eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse in our government, reduce the size of state government, take a blowtorch to the regulations that are in Lansing that are preventing folks from investing and growing jobs here in the state, and reduce the size of state government, make meaningful investments in our schools and infrastructure. But it really starts with making it more affordable here in Michigan. I was talking to a guy that moved from Tennessee to Michigan the other week, and you don't meet many of those folks because Tennessee is a right to work state, no income tax. But he moved up to Michigan for family reasons. He goes, I add up my insurance bills, my energy bills, my local taxes. I'm paying $5,000 more for the privilege of living in Michigan than I did in Tennessee. And I don't know about you, but as a farm boy, $5,000 is a lot of money. We need to keep more money in people's pockets, not take more away from them. So we must roll back the Democrats' Green New scam, restore America's energy dominance, like Michigan Palisades plant, where President Trump has invested $400 million in building up clean, safe, reliable nuclear power, bringing jobs and affordable energy in Michigan. And we really need to enact a read by third grade guarantee and focused instructions on proven science of reading, bring accountability back to our classrooms, and trust parents to make the best choices for their children's futures. And enroll Michigan. I mean, this is what the governor could do today, but she hasn't. I brought it up to her before. But we need to enroll Michigan in President Trump's federal tax credit scholarship program that helps families with tutoring, books, supplies, and provides real school choice for parents here in Michigan.
Senator, after nearly 8 years under the current administration, what lessons do you think Michigan should take from this period as the state prepares for its next leadership chapter?
They need a governor that works just as hard as they do. As a farm boy, that's what I'm going to do, is work just as hard as hardworking families do, as somebody who went to Hillsdale College, somebody that understands the greatness of American exceptionalism in our free market system. But more importantly, somebody that cares more about solving the challenges here in the state by putting more money in hardworking taxpayers' pockets, creating good paying jobs, accountability and education. They care about whether or not whether your kids read than how many books they sell on Martha's Vineyard. And this is what's important, is that we got to solve these toughest problems, raising incomes, lowering costs, making sure our kids can read and succeed, and preparing our next generation for good family supporting jobs and skilled trades.
Did you almost fall out of your chair as I did when she shouted out Donald Trump in his efforts for Selfridge?
Well, that's one thing, is that President Trump is standing up for Michigan, continues to do that. I welcome President Trump. A year ago at Selfridge, when he announced the new fighter mission, we got to carry on and continue to work with the White House to make sure, one, our Great Lakes are protected by having a barrier for Asian carp in Illinois to prevent these invasive species from coming in. We got to work with President Trump to make sure that the Selfridge happen. and continues. And President Trump needs a partner here in Michigan to lower the cost of energy, to make sure that we're partnering to bring back manufacturing renaissance and energy dominance here in America.
Yeah, and something that it has been a key focus of his administration, certainly. Senator Eric Nesbitt, thank you for your time. Always good to talk with you.
Yes, have a good day.
Yep, we'll talk again very soon.
Well, stay safe out there. God bless.
Yep, you
You
got
as well.
it. That's going to do it for us, Lloyd. Tomorrow, a little bit of a different format. One of my favorite days of the year, the Salvation Army Radiothon here on WJR.
We'll see you there.
We'll see you there. Have a good one.
Big Gretch out.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season. I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the